you contemplate? Are we? Am I?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday night. You already made it through the first day of the week, which has to feel good, and we are watching it on Prime Monday Night Hockey. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking on producer Hayden's favorite team, the Minnesota Wild. That means producer Hayden is at the game with his dad, who is a Leaf fan, who I'm sure is totally embarrassed right now. So I have producer Drew, and I've got Justin. I got the A-team here. And Drew, producer Hayden can't be on the A-team because he cheers for Minnesota. So sorry, producer Hayden. Drew is here. Justin is here. We're here. We're going to party. And I just want to do a big shout out to Francois LaBelle already dropping $2 on that super chat, singing Fighting for Love, as one does on a Monday night. And Francois LaBelle also says, watching on Prime, sound down. I'm here for the love. Gripper Nation. It was a pretty good little Leafs there. 2-1-1. Like, not the, listen. It should have been 6 of a possible 8 points. We all know it. The Vegas game, you know, they missed the call on Scott Lawton from Aiden Hill behind the net. That sucks. But, you know, also, as Steve said on the podcast on Friday, Joe Woll could have mixed in a save. You know, could have mixed in a save. That's fair. But I will say this. 2-1-1 is pretty good, especially when you're on a pretty nasty road swing. Beat Colorado. Drew loved that. Drew loved that. Drew was so excited for that. And he says rigged. And now they've got the most important homestand of the entire season. And the teams they play are as follows. Are you guys ready for this? The next 5 games are intense. Okay, so you got Minnesota, one of the best teams in the league. You got Detroit, one of the best teams in your division. You got Vegas Friday, Mitch Marner game, division leading team, even though that division is a little soft. Who cares? They're still leading it. Colorado, the best team in the league and probable Stanley Cup champion. And then Buffalo, who's been on an absolute tear since they fired their GM. So, yeah, like this is kind of a big deal. Now, the Leafs are 16-5-5 at home this year, which is good. But I do feel like this is going to make or break their season. Like, that's where we're at here. You don't do well on this. You can't even really be mid on this. You need to pull, out of a possible 10 points, you got to pull like 7. That's what I think you got to be at. And you got to keep in mind, too, it's not just that the Leafs need to do well. I mean, that's part of it. But everybody in their effing division has been doing well. Tampa, in their last 10, has not lost a game in regulation, 9-0-1. Detroit are 7-2-1. Montreal are 6-3-1. Boston has won 6 straight games, and they are 8-1-1 in their last 10. The Sabres are 6-3-1, and the Leafs are 7-1-2, and they are 6th in the division. It's just a division of killers all of a sudden. And don't forget, too, Florida gets Matthew Tkachuk back tonight. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Vinny Desharnais welcomed him back with an absolute masterful hit at center ice. It was beautiful. You should check that out. So, yeah, this is real important. And by the way, there are only 2 teams in the division with negative goal differential, the Florida Panthers and, of course, the goalie-less Ottawa Senators, who play every game like they've pulled a goalie. Everybody else kind of rolling, which makes you wish the Leafs had done a little bit more at the beginning of the season, but they didn't fire that assistant coach soon enough. Now, Francois Lebel just dropped 5 SDPN memberships. So did Heather the Avs fan. Oh, my God. We got an Avs fan in the chat. Drew's going to love that. And Jim Eden says, let's go. Hit that like. Thank you, Jim. We love you, buddy. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one tonight. I'm excited for this. I do think the Leafs to win this game are going to have to rely a lot on the couple of things that they're like really good at. First thing is they're really, really good at killing penalties. You're going to take a couple penalties tonight. You've got killers on there, right? Kaprizov, Quinn Hughes, Tarasenko. Even though he's not the same Tarasenko he used to be, he's still dangerous, right? Penalty kills killer. 5-on-5, it's going to be a puck possession game. And the Leafs need to win the puck possession by winning the most faceoffs. The thing about that's crazy to me about hang on here. The thing that to me is crazy about the Minnesota Wild, that's who the Leafs are playing, is the fact that their center depth is still just not that great. Drew, what do you got on the screen? You said Leafs lines. Okay, let's throw them up. They're on. Okay, so we get the Leafs lines here. We've got McMahon, Matthews, Max Domi. Max Domi, by the way, only 2 penalties in the last 14 games. Only 2. And he's got 10 points over that time. And that entire time, basically, he's been playing with Austin Matthews. He's been really good. Matias Michelli, John Tavares. Matthew Nyes is a game time. Then we got Easton Cowan, Nick Watt, and Nick Robertson, which has been a spectacular one. Nyes is playing, confirmed. And then Lorentz, Lott, and Yarncroke. On defense, Morgan Riley, Brandon Carlo. I think they're going to try to reduce Morgan Riley's minutes. I think frankly, I think he's playing too much for his style of play. Jake McCabe, Oliver Ekman-Larsson have been amazing. And Simo Benoit back in the lineup, paired up with the heart and soul of this team. That'd be Troy Stetcher. James Stemler dropped 5 SDPN memberships. Man, you guys are giving today. Giving memberships. And Denise Campbell says it's the first time back in Chicago for Jonathan Toews too. Yes, it is. It's a big night. Now, on the Minnesota Wild side, let's have a look at this because so Drew's putting them on screen. Here's what gets me about Minnesota. They've got killers on the wing, but their first line center is Ryan Hartman. Matt Boldy is out. And I believe, so Bogosian, Erikssonek, Brodin, Boldy, and Johansson are all out. Those are good players. Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello, Trenin, Urov, Tarasenko, Foligno, Hunter Haight, and Hinostroza, and then it's Jones, Strom, and Pitlick. And then on defense, still nasty. Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, Jake Middleton, Jared Spurgeon, Damon Hunt, and David Juracek. Noted Alan Walsh client. Hollow Point 5557 says, they said it was a 7:30 start. What is this? Whenever it's a 7:30 start, it's a 7:45 start. That's just the way it works. When it's a 7 start, it's a 7:15 start. When it's a 7:30 start, it's a 7:45 start. I hate it. You hate it. We all hate it. But that's what they do to us. That's what they do. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting game. The Leafs have obviously also have to play a pretty damn good goaltender. Every goaltender, both Gustafsson and Wallstat for Minnesota, they're on Team Sweden, both of them. That's pretty good, man. You've got both goalies for probably the third-ranked team in the Olympic tournament. That's kind of scary. So yeah, this will be a test. But every game from here on out is going to be a test. And I should promo, excuse me, that Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing another stream. So that's going to be the Detroit game. And then Friday night, Mitch Marner makes his return to Toronto. Producer Drew will be there. Steve Dangle will be there. Justin will be there. That is going to be the stream of the week. So make sure that you're in. If there's a Leaf game this week, we're streaming it. It's going to be great. Drew, is it completely unprofessional that I need to jump off camera and blow my nose very quickly before the game starts? Would that be wrong? Drew says go for it. I'm going for it, Gripper Nation. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'm fighting off this cold. I'm pretty sure Steve gave it to me. Anyway, I'll be right back. All right. Steve dropped a stat on the show today that blew my mind. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has more points this season than anybody on the Vancouver Canucks payroll. That's how good it's going for the Canucks. And by the way, I hadn't looked at the standings in like a week and a half. Who dead last? Dead last. Yes, I did. Hey, producer Drew's asking me if I've seen the Vinny Desharnais, Matthew Tkachuk hit. I have seen it. Is there any way to bring up a? Oh, you got it up. Okay, this hit. If you guys get the chance to look it up on Twitter, it's just beautiful. It's such a good hit. Vinny Desharnais, who has his detractors. I'll tell you, that guy, he just crushed him. And I have a feeling that later on in the game, Matthew Tkachuk is going to punch him in the face, after a whistle somewhere. Hayden says George Peros might suspend him. It's a Florida team. Didn't Peros play for the Sharks too at one point? Am I wrong on that? Might have. Bob Kaiser says, who is the top 6 center Wylde trade for? Jack Hughes? I can clap, yes. Here we go. I'm going to clap for the face-off. Matthews. Hartman. I'm going to try not to cough through this whole stream. I don't know what happened with my cold. It was fine. And then all of a sudden, I started coughing. So I got Neocitrin I'm going to be taking during the break, and we're going to rock our way through this, kids. Now, just getting back to some of these chats here. No Leaf game Saturday, by the way. It's all about Friday night. Max Domi made a really good move there. Matthews behind the net. Man, sometimes when I watch Prime, I realize like how clear the picture is. It's kind of crazy. Like, and maybe it's because I'm watching on the Rogers app when I'm at home, but like it is not this good. Michelli with the shot. Producer Drew's like, yeah, the Sportsnet app's not the best. I am going to need some halls. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Man, I don't know what happened. I was perfectly fine throughout the podcast all day today. Now, right when I need my voice to rock, hey, or producer Drew says it's my flu game. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Uber Eats myself some Halls, and we'll get it sorted out. 18:33 left in the first period. Nick Waugh. And that puck is offside. So while I look for my Halls here, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think right now, based on how they're playing, what they're doing, you think the Leafs can do this? Can they make the playoffs? Like, I feel like that's got to be the question for the remainder of the season. Can these guys actually do the thing and make the playoffs? And I can't believe, like, if you told me in September this is the question we'd be asking, I'd be like, oh my God, like what happened? Who died? Right? They were just really not good in the early season, and obviously some injuries and stuff. But it's kind of crazy. It's like the tale of two seasons. As soon as the year turned over, the team turned good. But before that, what a disaster. And the question becomes, can you recover from it? The team that obviously comes to mind when you think about that is the St. Louis Blues from a few years ago, who I know Drew loves the 2019 Blues, right, Drew? Drew calls them frauds. You think they're frauds, huh? I think that Blues dynasty would have lasted longer had Pietrangelo stuck around. That's what I think. Hayden, Drew says they were a poorly coached team that got lucky. Woo! Spicy. Spicy. Well, I got myself some Halls, but I'm gonna have to limit my talking until it happens, which is not the best considering that I'm on a stream with you guys. But thank you for holding in there. I appreciate it. Pally Yarncroke in the lineup. Jacob Quillen was called up, but Matthew Nyes obviously is playing. It's so funny. Berube was like, well, his injury gets better with rest, and there hasn't been a lot of time to rest. Oh, shot by Lorentz. Good save by Gustafsson. What was that, Drew? Yeah, I just did. Drew said Uber Eats some Dayquil. I am Uber Eatsing. I Uber Eats some Halls. So I should be better for the second period. That's true. I took Dayquil before I started. And the problem is that I'm starting to cough now, which I wasn't at all day. I sat around for 2 hours, did the entire show, no issues. And now, of course, here, I've also got Neocitrin. There we go. Scott Lawton, number 24. Hey, by the way, did you guys hear Bobby McMahon and the Leafs are talking extension? Which is good because, not 30 already. I'm kind of wondering what that deal looks like. They were saying today that Kiefer Sherwood, who was just traded to the San Jose Sharks, his deal come in about 5 years, $5.5 million is what the expectation is. So if he's coming in at that, Bobby McMahon is what? 4.25? He's big, he's fast, plays well with Matthews. But you got to be careful. You can't pay your mid-level guys too much. Hey, Drew says UFA is always going to cost more. It's true. Here's another one. Nick Robertson is a free agent. He's an RFA, and he just switched agents today. He went to Allen's agency. He's represented by Andy Scott, who I believe is Mikko Rantanen and Leon Draisaitl's agent. Both Robertson boys, Jason and Nick, left CAA, are now with Octagon. So that's an interesting one. I don't know how they're going to handle that. Oh, Benoit's going to the box here. Man, it wouldn't be a Simon Benoit game without a weird call early. He is the king of the early bad penalty. And I like Simon, but what is this? Yeah, that's a trip every time. That sucks. All right, here we go. We got a ton of super chats tonight. Francois Labelle, you should stop French kissing Steve. That's not how you learn the language. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We got to stop our makeout sessions. Klokev says, so there's no Leafs game on Saturday. Would you stream the Habs game instead? We would love that. I could look at that. I could do a Habs game. I'll have to. Steve's doing Friday, so I'd have to make some plans with my family. Drew says, "Hey, how about we let people have Saturday night off for once?" All right, fair. Yeah, maybe we have a Saturday night off. It's not just us, on the camera. It's everybody behind the scenes working hard, except for Justin. I mean, Drew works hard, but does Justin really work hard? I don't know. Chat. What do we think? 1:27 left on this power play. Zuccarello tripped by Benoit, and Quinn Hughes has got that puck. Still getting used to that, him in that jersey. Oh, and a great goal. Wow. Hartman to Tarasenko. I told you, one of the keys to this game was going to be penalty killing, and I told you Tarasenko is still dangerous, didn't I? Yuck. Hayden will love that. The rest of us hate it. Yeah, this is just good puck play. There's no challenge really from the Leafs. They just kind of they go out too far a little bit on the defense and not enough on the forwards. You see what I'm saying? McCabe sort of commits, and then it leaves Carlo in a rough spot. Nobody picks up Tarasenko, and that's it. Oh my God. By the way, all the Avs fans in the chat, I know that we're playing each other here soon. We're going to try to do you a favor and get you a 0 on the board for the Minnesota Wild tonight, but we'll see how it goes. It's not started that well. Tyson Barnett says, could the Leafs benefit if they had the proper youth academy teaching kids Leaf-style hockey at the NHL level, develop these kids to men 15 years later? That's sort of what the OHL and some of the junior leagues are for. Maybe they could. But remember, they would just be training players to be drafted elsewhere because the Leafs would not have the ability to players when they're full, like it's, the EPL. So, I mean, it's probably good for the game. Probably good to get kids signed up and into hockey. But yeah, I don't know. Tyson Barnett dropped 5 SDPN memberships. Francois Labelle, get Fisherman's Friends extra. It works best for me. Freak811 says, hello, Drew. Kathy Lawson dropping 5 SDPN memberships. Freak811 says, justice for Justin. I don't know if Justin deserves justice. Freak811 dropping 10 SDPN memberships. And Chloe says it's Habs Bruins Saturday night. You know that's going to be a good game to stream. I know, but producer Drew probably wants some time off, and so does everybody. Oh, you're going to the game Sunday, Drew. Hey, is it Leafs Colorado Sunday? And it's a matinee game. Oh, is anybody streaming that? Oh, there's Robertson. Okay, good. Wow, with the shot. Oh, man, he just missed. Good setup there by Robertson. Leafs kind of pushing here. McCabe. Back to Ekman Larson. I thought that was going to go over to Cowan. Shot! Cowan with another shot. Okay, so it was OEL with the shot on the net. Creates the rebound. Cowan had a backhand, and Gustafsson definitely had that. Oh, am I hosting the Sunday stream at 1:30? Sick. All right, I better tell my wife. Oops. Forgot to mention. That's 3 streams this week. All right. Getting to work here. Matthews. Back by Jurczyk. Oh, and he just flies into the net. And Matthews doesn't seem thrilled about that. Should that be? You think that's goalie interference, or is that interference? Oh wow, he did kick him in the head, Drew. Gustafsson got him right in the head. Woo! Yeah, Drew saying that skate almost hit him in the neck. If it wasn't for that neck guard, could have been a lot worse. Freak811 said those 10 memberships were for the Wild goal. Let's go Wild. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? I don't know. Isabella says it's going to be a rough night. You mean on air with us, or or on the ice. I gotta say, like the Wild are a team the Leafs don't play that much. I don't really know what the secret is to like beating them, but their goaltending kind of rocks, and the Leafs are gonna have to generate a lot of shots. I don't know, Drew. You watch the Wild a lot more than we do. What do you think? What you said? Yeah. Run and gun, but all their best players are out, Drew says. So right. Yeah, he is. Okay. Well, kind of looking at the chat here. As a Wild fan, we just sometimes don't show up. Man, I hope that's tonight. People are like, somebody just said in the chat, you look bored, Adam. I'm not bored. I'm trying to hold it together. My voice just decided to like quit right before we started here. I was totally fine all day. Producer Drew, I hope Hayden doesn't hear this. He says, Capri's super overpaid, right? Wild fans, you can take that? You can take that? Jake McCabe has a pass kind of go off a leg. There's Ryan Hartman, the psycho. He's crazy, man. Ryan Hartman's crazy. He's like one of the NHL's legit crazy persons. Hartman dumps the puck in. McCabe plays it off the boards up to McMahon. Shot moved back in by the Wild. Matthews tries to collect. Hughes all over him. Domi with it at the Leafs blue line. Stops up. Passes through center. Gets Matthews. Hughes is able to turn that around. And boy, the Wild reload quickly here. Oh, Faber with a shot. So far in the early going, I mean, it didn't help that the Leafs went down on a 2-minute power play, but Wild have kind of been rink's been tilted in their direction. Carlo behind the net, fighting with Sturm for it. Jones to Spurgeon at the point. Somebody's down in front of the net already. Carlo blocks a shot. 11:26 left in the first period. Wall with the save and a late whistle. Oh, and Riley just cut someone right in the face. That might be Pitlick. Just popped him. Well, a small pop. No big deal. They Wild are doing a good job here. Leafs looking a little sluggish. And as I told you, they can't afford that. Ricky says that Gripper Nation art is incredible, isn't it? That is a frequent watcher of these streams, Natalie Drake, who painted that for me. I think it's pretty cool. It's Adam, you should do a silent stream. Do it interpretive dance. I wish I could. Anytime I dance, I just dance like a 6-year-old man. Love dancing. Really bad at it. Still love it. And producer Drew says, hosted a music radio show but cannot dance. Yo, do you know how out of place I was at clubs? We used to do these like live to airs at these dance clubs. I remember I was at one, I hosted at a club called Rehab in Oakville. And I did not belong. And after about a month, the club owner called my boss at Kiss 92.5 and said, we're going to need one of your other hosts. So that lasted a month. That's the first job I got fired from was the Rehab Kiss 92.5 live at Rehab gig. Can I DJ? No, I can't. There was a DJ there. Jesse can DJ. Jesse can. Producer Drew saying, Jesse, what about him? Oh, you trust me to make a Yeah, I can make a playlist. It's the mixing part that I never really sat down and bothered to learn, although DJs make pretty good money. I should have probably tried, but I liked the, amping up the crowd. It's just like some of these clubs, they're so it depends on the club that you're at. I remember when I was in Halifax, they're all like everybody's like kids and they're crazy and they're having fun and whatever. You get to like Toronto and they're like all serious at the club. Like I came here dressed up in my best shit and I'm getting bottle service and I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars, not like I'm getting dollar shots in Halifax, right? So I was good with the dollar shots in Halifax crowd, not so good with the bottle service crowd. I'm sure you can imagine why. They're a bit snooty. Nick Waugh through center, up to Nick Robertson. Robertson leaves it for Waugh. Behind the net, Cowan misses it. Stetcher pitches. Back to Robertson with a quick shot. Urov blocked that. Robertson throws a hit behind the Wylde net, and out comes the puck. Nick Waugh collects. Leaves it for Ekman Larson. Oh, a little chip shot there by Cowan, not the greatest. You know, it's funny, Easton Cowan, you can see that he's got it. But he makes little plays like that, and you're like, dude. Rookie play. Oh! This entire sequence happened because Easton Cowan made a chip shot pass at center when he should have fired it in. He was at the end of a shift. You fire it in, you get rid of it, you get off the ice. Let the fresh guys forecheck it. What he did was he tried to make a play, and I respect it. But the problem is that it's created about 25 seconds there of offensive zone time for the Minnesota Wild. And a pretty good chance. We don't love that. Emo Jalapeno, I've lived in Barrie for 10 years. I never stepped foot in the ranch. I was so proud of myself. What was when I was a radio DJ in Barrie, there was the Queens. And I remember, okay, get this. You want to dig deep? You guys remember Sean Paul? Guess who hosted a Sean Paul concert in Barrie? This guy, Sean Paul. In Barrie, Ontario. At Drew's like where? It was the one like club with a big stage on it. Yeah, but I was the guy that came out and like introduced Sean Paul. Which is kind of freaking crazy. And his whole crew was like in the back looking at me like, what is this guy doing here? Because, you know, uh, yes. No, there was. Yeah, I was the MC of the night. And there were a couple of acts on before him. But yeah, I was there. And he was really good. ON Steve says, add Barrie to a list of places that shouldn't have a club. Barrie had a good party scene. It had a good party scene. Mostly like bars and stuff. The old Hooters in Barrie overlooked Kempenfelt Bay, and it was the most beautiful view. It was not the greatest restaurant, but it was like the most beautiful view I've ever seen. Like if you partied there at night, it was great. Adam, please tell me the club in question is the Dome. Well, I did that in I did the Dome in Halifax. Yes. And no, somebody's asking, was it 99.9 Virgin Radio in Barrie? No, it would have been B101 in Barrie, which is a station that doesn't exist anymore. I believe it's a rock station now called Rock 101. And they ran it out of a gas station. Oh, okay, there's another goal. Wow. Hartman this time. Man, the Wild are just kind of making mincemeat of the Leafs defense. Not great. Not great. That's what happened here? So Matthews wins the draw. McCabe tries to get it up. McMahon is unable to get it out. And then the Wild just torched the Leafs here. Yeah, and McCabe smashes his stick. He knows. He didn't I don't even know if it's totally McCabe's fault there. I feel like the Wild were able to interrupt his pass. That was rough. That was really rough. Hayden's loving his life down there right now, I bet. Kaprizov. Off to Bobby McMahon. What's that, Hayden? That's a good question. Drew said, "Hey, are we in Joseph Wool potentially pulled territory?" I mean, 2 goals on 5 shots. We'll see how the next 5 minutes goes. He wasn't good against Vegas either. So, Stollers is getting closer, but he's still not practicing. Oh, Hayden is in the chat right now having just the best time. Now, listen, I don't know if I fully blame him for either of those shots, but I mean, the first one was a power play. Second one was sort of a badly executed, exit from your own zone, but you kind of do need a save there, right? I mean, the Wylde, the thing about the Wylde that is they're side to side, and the Leafs if you can find a team that's east-west, the Leafs get killed. It's so crazy. The Leafs are so focused on north-south hockey. Any team that plays east-west, especially in their zone, the Leafs can't handle it. Their passing lanes are like wide open. Somebody just said Wall definitely overplayed the post on that second goal. Yeah, and basically, Drew's right. Drew also said, yeah, nobody covering in front of the net, and that's 2 goals in a row. Nobody covering in front of the net. First time was a power play. It happens, but Nye's behind the net. Glad he's able to play tonight. Wonder how bad that injury is. I'm sure the Olympic break's going to do him some good. Leafs looking slow in the early going here. And a little sloppy. I don't know if that's them or if it's just the Wylde playing really well. Steve said, injured team coming to Toronto. That's a scheduled loss. Yarncroak. Down low to Riley. There we go. Out front. Shot. Good save by Gustafson. Hey, man, the fourth line always gets something going. It's kind of wild, but they are able to do that. I don't know how they're able to do it like this consistently, but I do kind of feel like they need to get more ice time. Like, it's kind of nuts. When you look at their 5-on-5 ice time, sometimes it's like hovering around 10, 12 minutes. And for Lawton and Lorentz, who do such a great job in creating offensive opportunities shorthanded, they're defensively responsible enough that they create offensive opportunities for themselves all the time. I don't know. I just feel like they could play more. Meme Empress says, so y'all are getting Quinnesotas. Apparently we are. Pokemon Messiah says, as a Canes fan, Minnesota is my West team. This is one of the 5 games I can't pull for the Leafs. That's fair. Also, pretty damn good team. Drew's not worried about them, though. Drew's not worried about them. Drew's worried about Dallas, I think. Right, Drew? Dallas, Edmonton. Yeah, those are the teams you're worried about. You're not worried about Edmonton this year? Well, Jari played good last night. You don't think Edmonton's going to make the West Final this year? Vegas is good. Okay. Drew's saying Vegas is the one getting out of that division. I think Colorado versus Vegas or Dallas versus Vegas. It doesn't matter who it is. Dallas or Colorado will win that series. Goaltending is such a big thing in the playoffs. And like Aiden Hill has been super mediocre this year. Carter Hart clearly doesn't have his legs back. I know Akira Schmid had that crazy run for New Jersey a couple of years ago, but like I don't think in a perfect world Akira Schmid is playing goaltender for them. Like I don't think that they're going to have him on the roster come playoff time. So it's going to be, to me, it's Dallas or Colorado by leaps and bounds. McCabe. Up to Lorentz. There's this fourth line out there again. Forechecking, creating opportunities, like I told you, against Faber and Hughes too. They're trying to get that. They're trying to get that matchup against the Kaprizov line. Maybe get Joseph Woll a little time to get settled into this game. Lawton chasing Quinn Hughes. Man, the speed Lawton has is a little underrated. Like, I don't think when he was acquired by Toronto, I don't think anybody was talking about Scott Lawton's speed, but it is really helpful to have a guy that far down in the lineup with those kinds of legs. Oh my God, Joe! Oh, almost a goaltender 10 the goal moment right there. Woo! Joseph Woll is looking a little off balance today. Crossing my fingers that turns around because he can make 10 bell saves. You guys know it, but wasn't good versus Vegas. Hasn't been the sharpest tonight. Hasn't had the best coverage tonight. We'll see how it goes. You're checking front. Wall makes a save there. That's his fourth save tonight. Quinn Hughes has the most points by a defenseman on the Leafs since 2020. That must have been a good chunk of that must have happened in the North Division, Drew. That's a stat Drew just gave me. That's North Division shit for sure. And that, Vancouver was pretty good. I don't know. Did they make the playoffs in the North Division? I know they made it in the bubble. They made it to the second round. Oh, yeah. So Vancouver didn't make it. Weird. Such a weird team. They had so much talent. So much talent. Like, how does a team with Pettersson being good, Horvat and JT Miller and Quinn Hughes and Patrick Demko being healthy not make it? I don't understand. That team was always good. They're just dysfunctional, man. Cowan drops the puck in. And then falls. I think he got tripped up by Nick Robertson's skate there. 3:53 left in the first. Nick Waugh. Travis Green is the answer to that question. A lot of Vancouver fans are still salty about Travis Green. You know what? We were talking about it today. Like, he had good coaching years in Vancouver and he had some bad ones. In Ottawa this year and last, I mean, they made the playoffs last year. This year, that's a good team, man. Like, I don't think he's doing anything wrong as a coach this year. They need a goalie. Or they have to get one of their goalies to make some more saves. Here you go. Domi out front to Benoit. Benoit bringing it, swings it in. Matthews had one. It was bouncing. Gustafsson didn't have eyes on it. Went a little wide. Bit of a low event first period so far, and not a lot of whistles. Leafs keeping the shift short. Probably a good idea because Minnesota's a lot faster than they are. There's Alan Walsh client, David Juracek. Yeah, I think you're right. Drew says the least best chance might have been 10 seconds in that Domi play. So far, that's doesn't bode well, especially considering second periods are their worst periods. Better turn up the stove here, boys. Let's go. Still, listen, I know they're looking for a commercial break here. Still no whistle. Here comes Foligno. Oliver Ekman-Larsson to Michelli. And Tavares gets Spurgeon, I think. Did he get him in the head with a stick? I think the Leafs are going to the power play here. All right. I'm going to run and blow my nose one more time here, kids. I'm sorry. It's just going to be one of those nights. Give me a sec. Yeah, baby. Got myself a Halls. Let's go. All right. Leafs power play. It's been a bad first period. Let's just call it what it is. Not good. Not good. So what you need here is a goal, obviously. But you need to feel like things are going okay going into the intermission. It was not good. Like that was the whole period has kind of sucked. And it starts with a shitty Simon Benoit penalty that he should never have taken. I'll give him a pass. It's his first game back in a couple. And I'm gonna need the Leafs to do something here. Their power play is still it's been much better. It's still struggling with zone entries. And what they're doing, and Frank Corrado kind of outlined this for us a week and a half ago. They're bringing it in, and they're immediately getting across the blue line, which is good. They're not doing the back pass bullshit that they used to do a couple of years ago. They're not doing whatever they were doing with Mark Savard this year. I don't even know what they were trying to do, but they couldn't get anything going. Zone entries on the power play have been an issue for the Leafs for years. And I'm wondering, with the mobility of Minnesota's defense, they're not going to be able to just dump it in. So they're going to have to do some sort of finesse play in and maybe take advantage of the fact that the centermen on Minnesota are not quite at the level that the Leafs have. If there's one edge the Leafs have, it's in the faceoff dot. So it's going to be Sturm versus Tavares. It's a 4-minute penalty, too. That's great. Maybe they can get a goal here and then continue a power play. Oh, almost right across. Matt Nyes had a beautiful opportunity there. By the way, I love this angle from look at this, scores! Oh my God. Yeah, we got a goal. So John Tavares draws the penalty, gets a goal, Leafs score on the power play, and guess what? They're still on the power play. And a great play. By the way, that angle from Amazon that's sick. Okay, so it's Matthews along the half wall, out to Wylde, back to Matthews. He gets it down low to Nyes, who beautifully finds Tavares. Michelli was creating a little bit of an issue at the side of the net. They had to kind of cover him, and nobody gets Tavares. He gets it right over the blocker side of Gustafsson. That's a beautiful thing. Good goal. Good goal. Rennie says, Adam, put that Halls with your tea. I've never had that. I know Steve does that. Drew says, that sounds gross. It is gross. Hey, Drew, apparently we got a goalie fight in Florida. Did you know that? Apparently, yeah, San Jose and can we look that up? I just want to know who fought. What are the San Jose would have really loved to have Kiefer Sherwood. Obviously, he couldn't be there. But a tough team like Florida, that's a guy you want to have. Matthews. To Riley. Shot. Gustafsson stops it. Tavares tries to collect. Michelli behind the net. Racing for it. Middleton chips it by him. Trenyon tries to get it out. Unable to. Matthews throws it in. Michelli unable to get it. 51 seconds left in the period. 1:15 left on the Leafs power play. Here comes Trenyon. Shot. Misses the net. Leafs falling all over the place. Okay, Morgan Riley with the puck. You got 35 seconds left to go. Out comes the second unit. So was Bobrovsky fighting the San Jose goalie? Wow. You have to look at that in intermission. Jeez. Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky, Russians. 10 seconds to go in this power play. Sorry, in this period. 30 left in the power play. Ekman-Larsson with the shot. Gustafsson with the save. Leafs are going to get one more chance at a big shot here, and then the period's going to wrap up. But they did get that one goal back, which they desperately needed. Had to get that. Did Nedeljkovic win the fight or did he lose it? I'm assuming Bobrovsky won that fight. So it's interesting because Bobrovsky's not actually that big of a guy. He's tall, lanky, sneaky, strong guys. Was everybody fighting? Oh, not a lot of connects. Okay. Matthews loses the draw. 3 seconds to go. Middleton rags it, and the period is over. So it didn't start great for the Leafs, but they do get one back at the end of it. Minnesota looked very, very strong in the early going. Tavares with a timely goal. And by the way, Tavares has kind of been struggling lately, not been putting a lot up on the score sheet. So that Nyes to Tavares connection must have felt really, really good for Johnny. People are saying Bob definitely lost. Oh, Nedeljkovic is not Russian. He's American. Well, there you go. A lot of people are complaining that it's... What's that, Drew? So Drew says, I think it's 2 goalies, but they didn't connect in the fight once. So, okay. All right. Now, Drew, let's play a clip here and play a long one so I can recover. I'm going to get a Neo Citron going at intermission. I'm going to watch this goalie fight. What do we got? Oh, this is good. This is good promo for Steve and Drew's stream on Friday night. Mitch Marner, when he comes back to Toronto, does he get cheered or booed? Have a look at this clip. Tell us what you think.
What type of reception are we expecting? Because I was thinking, okay, listen, I know people don't love the way that he left, and Steve Simmons pointed out again that his family were like house shopping in like
it was disgraceful.
Late winter.
He was out the door for a long time.
We knew this was happening. I still blame management more than I blame him. He's got every right to go if he wants to go. I blame management for hanging on as long as they did. Shanahan is the number one problem there. Yeah. But I would also put that on Treliving as well for not pushing back harder.
He just got there.
Is this going to be, and this is what I'm a little bit worried about. Fans can do whatever the fuck they want. Is this going to be like a Vince Carter first time back in Toronto type thing? Do you remember that?
It could be. Like producer Drew laid out Mikko Rantanen's return in Colorado. According to him, it was every time he touched the puck, boo! Then they show his video, yeah! And then every time after that, boo! I have a feeling it'll be like that for Mitch. You don't boo a video tribute. Like, that's insane.
They probably... You don't think so?
I think you're entirely wrong about that. I think it's majority boos. I think it's like 70-30 and like during his, hey, welcome back, Mitch, there will be boos.
There's going to be like a smattering of them for sure.
But like,
I also want people to be open to the idea that there are going to be people, that building is going to be full of Leaf fans and a lot of them are going to cheer for Mitch Marner.
Yes.
They are.
And I think the other half will boo him.
He's going to be booed at least as loudly as he was last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be... I mean, this is a guy who was booed every time he touched the puck in Game 7 by the home crowd.
Well, yeah, they were down 6-1.
They got booed at the end of it, too, when they were doing their stick wave to the fans.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't... No.
Okay, fair enough.
I was going to say...
He got a 40-minute rant on him about Game 7.
Well, he wasn't a Leaf in Game 7, was he?
Yeah, there you go.
Foot out the door.
I don't think he was a Leaf in games, any of the 13 games they played in the playoffs last year. He was just a Leaf in color only, right? You know, in the
He wasn't a Leaf for a single game last season.
So that's where I'm kind of curious because obviously you're going to get the people who tut everything. You're like, this is why nobody wants to play in Toronto.
I would like those people to fuck off from sports entirely. Stop wasting everyone's time.
I don't think...
I think they're...
Yeah.
You're talking about fanaticism. Please stop.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be Tavares level, but I think it's going to be just below that. I actually don't think it's going to be as warm as of a reception as we think it is. As people think.
So can I be honest about?
I think people are angry at him.
I think you're right, Jesse, and I think they've got every right to be searching for houses down there. You know, on your and not accepting a trade, and everybody knows it was going to be Mikko Rantanen coming back. And from everything we've heard, Mikko was open to signing an extension in 2 places, Toronto and Dallas.
It's not his fault.
So no,
2023.
I know, I get that, but my point is this: you will look at it nuanced like that because we are this close to it.
Right.
The average person only does not think about a fucking no trade clause. They're thinking about, hey, I heard that your family was searching for this, and I heard that
you're the reason
nixed
we
the
don't have
trade
Mikko
for this,
Rantanen.
and you were talking to Ryan Reeves about what it's like to play in Vegas and blah, 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 which all happened.
We could have had one of the best players in the league long term, and you stopped us from.
Yeah, but you guys are only talking about the end of it. I think the average person who's going to sit there and boo is thinking about the 8 years before that of no playoff success and him not showing up at playoffs. I think that's what they think about, and that's why they want to boo him.
Yeah.
Not even like, hey, you didn't wave or anything. What about you didn't perform or win anything for us and you left? Bye. We're going to boo you.
Can I pre-defend Leafs fans for this a little bit?
I
just let me.
I think it's a waste.
The
of time.
answer is yes. Yeah, you say yes, Adam, because I have a point to make.
Yes, Adam, make your point.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you saying that. By the way,
you're welcome.
Here's what I want to say. The Leafs get a lot of shit, and the Leafs players have given Toronto a lot of shit for how they handle cheering. Right? Oh, it's a quiet building. Oh, it's so quiet. So quiet. Everybody walks in. The media from outside of town come in. Oh, it's a funeral home in there. Blah. Why, Matthews? Why can't we get up for Ryan Reeves' one fight this season? Right? Mm-hmm. If the Leafs go at it similar to way the Islanders fans handled Tavares, right? And Tavares left without a trade, so that made things a little bit harder. But if Leaf fans did that, you can't then say that the place is a funeral home.
Adam, yes, you can.
Because
people talk out of both sides of their mouth all the time.
Both sides of your mouth.
And no one's ever going to feel bad for the Leafs, and no one's ever going to feel bad for Leaf fans.
And I think,
so you just got to take it on the chin.
By the way, I also think Leaf fans should make it hard on a former player coming back to Toronto.
He's good. That's the reason he makes $12 million.
That's
so
the reason.
Probably make life difficult for him.
You should cheer on your own team and boo the other team. I don't see that as being an issue. Now, I know this is going to become, next Saturday, it's going to be a fucking moral crusade on hockey Twitter.
Oh, it's going to be
exhausting. But I think, you know what, man? I'd like to see Leaf fans have a little bit more fire than what they've had and show people what usually happens outside of the arena, where people who cannot afford it in the playoffs cheer and scream and stand out in the rain and the freezing cold in April for, playoff games. And we sat there at Sport Check overlooking those people every single night last year, whether it was an away game or a home game. They were lined up for hours and they're hanging out and they're losing their minds for this team. I want to see that. I want Toronto to be a hostile environment. We went to Bell Center for my first wedding, for my first bachelor party. And Montreal was terrible back then. They were really bad.
Yes.
But they beat Detroit 10-2. And you know what they did?
They smoked them.
They fucking made life hell for the Red Wings. They cheered the shit out of the Canadians. They booed the shit out of the Red Wings.
There was no, hey, let's not pour it on.
No. Pour it on, man.
Absolutely.
Why are we not pouring it on? Pour it on.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was quiet in Vegas last night? Sure didn't sound that way to me.
No.
And they sure poured it on when Vegas won, as they should.
As they 1,000,000% should.
So I feel like the tut-tutting that is about to come, I just needed to preempt that. I think you let fans be fans, and I want to see more fire out of this fan base in a real loud way. And I want Toronto to be a really fucking hard place to play in.
Leaf fans, just let go of the idea that anyone will ever like you. Like, just do you. Just do you.
Adam,
fuck everyone else. Just do you.
Adam, you love the comparisons to other sports and the fan bases. The one thing I think about when you're talking about hostile environments is Juan Soto last year returning to Yankee Stadium. You remember that video of him standing out there and them in the bleachers, all the Yankees fans, making it a hostile environment for him, and then all getting together pregame plans as a fan base in that corner to boo him, and to have their chance and do everything. And it was really contentious between him and the fans.
That's why the Yankees have such a hard problem recruiting players. Really, really hard time recruiting.
And I think that's what you're trying to see out of Leafs fans.
Yeah, I want you to fucking hate coming to Toronto.
They're wearing the other team's jersey. Like, it doesn't have to be easy for them.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think you look at like Philadelphia or Boston, right? They always tell you if you're wearing the opposing team's jersey, especially if you're if you're a Kraken fan, you're probably okay. But if I roll into Philadelphia and I'm wearing a Pens jersey and I sit in that upper level, I am gonna have beer poured on my head. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but like if
you're going to the game wearing a hard hat because batteries hurt.
Yes. And then you look at Boston's the same. They had we been in Boston for that playoff game and that game had been close, would have been a very different circumstance, I think. Boston fans don't F around. It's a hard place to play.
I've seen 2 games in Boston. And I cannot imagine going to a fan there and being like, "You're a little bit much, huh?" Can you imagine
Boston fans would be like, "Yes, I am."
Tut Bruins fans. Can you imagine? They wouldn't even humor you. They tell you to fuck yourself, which is what I would like Leaf fans to do, but a little bit more often.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not friendly out here. Fuck them.
Hello, friends. Steve Dangle here, and welcome to another episode of Big Dubs, where we take a look at the best from around the WHL over this past week. Producer Hayden, he's been ranting and raving about this week's crop. Does it live up to the hype? First, let's head to Red Deer and check out Ty Copeland.
And Kuzma from his own left circle will fire it up ice to Copeland. Copeland trying to dance in at the right circle with room to make a toe drag move. He cuts to the outside and scores! Bookmark that one for the highlight reel. Ty Copeland with a toe drag move and a top shelf backhand finish to put Red Deer up 2-0.
Well, it's one of those moves that I don't think Ty Copeland could do twice. And Gio Pantelis is the hardest guy to beat one-on-one, but he just did something with that puck, a snifty little...
Ooh. That is one of the nastiest toe drags of the season, and just the backhand shovel. Now you've heard of making a great impression with your first goal with the team. What about your last? Because as it would turn out, that would end up being Ty Copeland's final goal with the Red Deer Rebels, because one day later, the Kamloops Blazers must have seen that goal and said, yeah, we want him. And now, he's on the Blazers. Ty Copeland has played 163 career WHL games. He has played parts of 4 seasons, and he has played for 3 teams. Now, the North Vancouver native is finally on a team in his home province. Ty Copeland. What a move, buddy. Big dub. Okay, all right, pretty good start. Let's see what we got for number 2. Here's Nathan Free's solo effort.
Went wide past the glove side post of Andrei Stebatek, and it is cleared into the neutral zone from Cole Slobodian. Here comes Nathan Free, down towards the middle. Free still holds, scores! Nathan Free! On a pass from behind the Winterhawks goal line. Levels the game at 1. Just seconds after Kelowna capitalized on its power play chance.
What? No, Hayden, show that again. Show that again. I don't even know what I just saw. And I was distracted by the shiny helmet. Show it again.
Went wide past the glove side post of Andrei Stebatek, and it is cleared into the neutral zone from Cole Slobodian. Here comes Nathan Free, down towards the middle. Free still holds, scores!
What?
Nathan Free! On a pass from behind the Winterhawks goal line. Levels the game at 1. Just seconds after Kelowna capitalized on its power play chance.
This man drove the net as hard as you possibly can. Fooled everyone into thinking he was going around, I guess, because it sure looked like it. And then he just levitates backwards. Little heel drag all the way through the goal mouth and shoves it in. Nathan Free has been an incredible addition for the Portland Winterhawks this season after coming over from the Brooks Bandits of the BCHL, where he won 2 championships, including one last year when he was a Brook Bandits top scorer. The 19-year-old, in what is his WHL rookie season, has 32 points in 42 games and is second on the Winterhawks in goals with 19. That thing being one of them. One of the nastiest goals we've seen this season. Nathan Free, big dub. All right, what do we got now? Oh, we got a goalie? We got a goalie. Yeah, but does he live up to the standard? This is getting good. Here's Ethan Eskett of the Victoria Royals.
The goaltender, as it's going to be the walk shot by Howell blocking a leg. The rebound chance. What a save from Ethan Eskett, lunging across with the cat-like reflexes. How did that one stay out? And here comes Victoria. The shot for more tipped off the glass.
Yeah, we're going to take a long glance at that save from Ethan Eskett. If that was indeed his glove on it, that is absolutely immaculate.
What do you even do when you get back to the bench? How didn't you bury that? Oh, I'm sorry, coach. It was just a save of the year candidate. Ethan Eskett is in his 4th WHL season, but his first with the Victoria Royals, and he is already it's January, already set a career high in games played. He's got a .905 save percentage in 31 games with the Royals. No other goalie for that team has hit double digits yet. He's facing a lot of rubber, and he's stopping it any way he can, just yeeting his body in front of the puck. Victoria Royals goaltender Ethan Eskett from Calgary, Alberta. Big dub. Our next highlight is an overtime winner. Okay, this has to be good. Here's Mathis Preston with the Vancouver Giants.
Preston just inside the zone, right circle now. He'll move in, trying to dangle a backhander. He scores! Mathis Preston, overtime winner! And his first game as a Giant, Vancouver wins 4-3.
Incredible highlight reel goal. You will see this on Plays of the Week.
Was there a toe drag clinic over the Christmas break no one told me about? Buddy, not only is that an overtime winner for Mathis Preston, but it's his first goal in a Vancouver Giants uniform. Preston was acquired by the Giants from the Spokane Chiefs, and he's been pretty good. The 17-year-old is having an unreal season. He's not even going to turn 18 until July. 14 goals, 32 points in 36 games. With the Chiefs. With the Vancouver Giants, in 2 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. That sounds pretty good to you? Scouts agree. Mathis Preston was ranked 24th amongst North American skaters during the NHL's midterm scouting ranking. Was originally selected 3rd overall by the Spokane Chiefs in the 2023 WHL Prospects Draft. This kid, pretty good. Mathis Preston. Big dub. Let's end this thing strong, huh? Riley Boychuk of the Prince Albert Raiders. What do you got?
Brzezinski hassled by Coots and forced into the corner. Coots takes it away. Out front, Boychuk! And he scores! Riley Boychuk with an absolutely filthy goal! Great work by Coots on the forecheck. Finds Riley Boychuk alone in front. He dipsies, he doodles, stops to have a quick cup of coffee, and puts it in the back of the net with a beautiful move.
That was unnecessary, Riley! You know full well you could have just tucked that in on the forehand, but no, you had to pull it backhand too. Just add in a couple extra moves. You already had 12, 14, 20. By the way, can we talk about the shots on goal? Oh my goodness. It's a miracle that was a 1-goal game. 17-year-old turns 18 at the end of the month, and he's having a ridiculous year. In 63 games last season, he had 14 goals, 15 assists. Pretty even. This season, Riley Boychuk has been a playmaking phenom. In 39 games, just 9 goals, but 35 assists. If that sounds like it leads the Prince Albert Raiders, it does. That's what the Prince Albert Raiders' top playmaker can do. Finish like that. That's dangerous. Raiders, by the way, loading up in a big way. They just got Brandon Gorzinski, a Dallas Stars prospect, and Braden Coots, a Vancouver Canucks prospect. Not to mention the youth movement as well. Daxon Rudolph, 1st overall pick 2023. Riley Boychuk, 2nd overall from 2023. Brock Cripps, 2nd overall from 2024. And Ben Harvey, 4th overall from 2024. Riley Boychuk, that is despicable stuff. Big dub. Producer Hayden, I gotta admit, pretty good. But what did you think of all the plays? Let us know in the comments down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this edition of Big Dubs. Click subscribe if you really like to tell your friends. SDPN is your place for all things WHL.
All right, we're back and medicated for the start of the second period. The first period was not great, except for at the end, where John Tavares drew a 4-minute penalty, and the Leafs scored on the first 2 minutes. I don't think they're going to score in the final 2 minutes here because there's about 20 seconds left. We're going to start the period. I don't know. We'll see. I got a Neocitrin now. I'm ready to go. I'm going to try to not hack and cough my way through this. Rennie says, by the way, if you put Halls in hot water, it makes for a really good sort of drink. Steve does that. And he says, it's not gross. I have black currant Halls, and I mix it with black currant tea. It amplifies the flavor. It's a hot menthol action. I don't know. Rennie says, Drew said, I didn't realize you were 90 years old, Rennie. And the power play is basically over 20 seconds into the period. Oh, well. Hey, the Leafs got a goal back. One thing that they are going to have to do a better job of this period is taking care of the puck. The 2 goals last period, first one, obviously, power play. Not a great penalty to take by Simon Benoit. Second one is totally avoidable. McCabe makes a pass to McMahon, and they're not able to handle it. And it should have been a better pass. End of story. Leafs, what do they call it? Berube's been talking about shot by Lawton there. Puck play is, I think, the key term in Toronto right now. Puck play, which sort of sounds like it should be on OnlyFans. But puck play is Berube's key word. We gotta watch our puck play. And they were not watching their puck play on that second goal. However, they did score. DT says, will you be seeing the greatest performer on earth, Bruno Mars, when he comes to Toronto? I might try to jump to that concert. You guys have never seen a Bruno Mars concert. You haven't lived. Guy is amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't love his new song, but I don't really care because his old songs are great. My wife texted me and she's like, is this one of these regionally blacked out games? How do I even watch this? I'm like, it's on Prime. And she's like, oh, idiots. So in case you're wondering, it's on Prime tonight. And when we get back on the power play, they actually have a kind of a cool side angle that they use now, which I have to give them credit for. They're trying stuff. Oh, Stetcher, download Robertson. Had he been able to get his stick on it, there would have been a nice cross-crease pass there. This Robertson-Cowan line is a line that Berube protects with his life. He'd rather make a change to the Tavares line than this one if somebody's drawing into the lineup. When Nylander comes back, the odd man out on that line is going to be Matthias Michelli because they are not moving Nick Waugh, Nick Robertson, and Easton Cowan off the same line. He just loves these guys. Absolutely loves them. No. Drew's asking me because Benoit is on CJ's trade list 4.0. I don't know if you guys saw that in The Athletic. It was released today. And Drew's like, do you think they'll put Benoit on the power play to showcase his talent? I don't think anybody who's picking up Simon Benoit was like, yeah, we're going to play him on the power play, so I need to see him there. I think everybody knows what he is, and I think with Troy Stecher coming in and being as good as he's been, it might make sense to move a guy like that if you get a crazy amount for him, considering he makes 1.135, not just this season, but also next season. That's a great value add for the playoffs. The one thing I would say is that, like, if the Leafs are going to the playoffs, they might need a guy like that. But I think they're trying to make a bigger swing. So I think ideally they want to trade a defenseman, grab some picks, use those picks to make a bigger swing on defense because their defense is clearly an issue without Tanev there. 16:55, Middleton carries the puck across center. Like, I think you got to find a way. You got to get a puck-moving defenseman, and you got to find a way to play Morgan Rielly less minutes. I think if he's lower down in the lineup playing against not as stiff competition, he's going to be pretty effective. And I know that he's paid $7.5 million. Hard miles. He's up on 1,000 games here. I just don't know that he's the same player he used to be, and maybe playing him in that spot is setting him up to fail. There's a stat I think Anthony Petrelli had. In the last 12 games, I think he's been on the ice for 20 goals against and only 12 for. And that's when the Leafs have been doing really well. Now, he's matched up against their toughest competition, but all the same, you need to have better numbers than that. Nobody's got a differential close to that. Even Philip Myers is like a -5. Outscored by 5 in that time. So I think there's clearly an issue there, and I think clearly the Leafs have recognized that. I just don't know who they get either. Like, who's selling puck-moving defensemen? I looked at the trade board. I didn't see much. Okay, here we go. Insider JC says, do you think Lawton can be the least Ernie Clement in terms of vibes and clutch? Yeah, I think that's a great call. He's also a guy that can play anywhere. He can do a little bit of offense. He's mostly defense. Like, Ernie Clement had 30 or 40. What did he have? Did he get a hit in every playoff game? Whoa. Yeah, so like I don't think Lawton's going to produce offense like Ernie Clement does. I definitely think Lawton's defense is pretty spectacular, like Clement's is. Oh, Hughes made a drive for the net, just missed the net. And by the way, the Leafs are going to the penalty kill on a trip. Carlos showing a little toughness there. Mike Schmidt, how are we feeling about the F1 liveries so far? For anybody that doesn't know, it's how all the teams look. Think McLaren will do anything new with theirs. I don't think McLaren does anything new with theirs. I think Haas F1 looks good. I think Red Bull looks really good. And I think they're all going to be pretty bad this year with the new regulations, except for if you have a Mercedes engine. But there's a bunch of teams still to come. Cody says, that would be sick, but Brad would rather sit on his hands than make a trade. You're telling me Riley played well enough to stay? I don't think they can play Riley. I don't think, or they can trade Riley midseason. I don't think that's a summer thing. If that's going to happen, it's going to happen in the summer. You know, a team's got $7.5 million is a lot of money. Even in this cap era where things are going up, you got to have a team that's willing to take that on. And also remember, Riley holds the cards. Kyle Dubas loved Morgan Riley, loved him, which is why he got the contract that he got, which was too expensive at the time. Who said that? Your boy Adam did. And then gave him complete no trade collection or protection. And I think the Leafs have a lot of defensive defensemen in the system already. You think about Mermis, you think about Matt Benning, you think about Myers, who I don't think should be playing regularly. You need a puck mover back there. And you need a good one. Like, I think they need to make like an actual swing. I just don't know what they have to give, which is why you probably move off a guy like Simon Benoit. If you can. I see in the chat that Sturm might be injured. I hadn't seen that. At least I haven't seen that on the broadcast. Drew, is that true? Is Sturm injured? Oh, he got hurt in the last shift. Okay. Tarasenko with a nice little break play there. Great pass to him. 1 minute left on this PK. I got to say, Minnesota is the first team in a while that's made me really sweat on the power play. Like, the Leafs have been amazing on the PK. This Minnesota team moves the puck so well, and maybe it's because I feel a bit weird. I got a cold, and I'm high on Dayquils and Neocitrin, but I do feel a little bit exposed here right now. Denise Campbell, do you know Ernie Clement plays beer league at home? I did not know that. I didn't know he was a hockey player. That's cool. I love that guy. Stetcher fires it around. Hartman is able to block that. Oh, it was offside. Oh, so Hartman didn't stop the puck. They missed that. Okay, because, yeah, the Amazon camera stayed on Hartman. I thought Hartman stopped the puck. I guess he didn't. Ernie knows puck. Unfortunately, he's a Sabres fan. Oh, that's a shame. That's a damn shame. I know it's where he's from. Still. Come on, Ernie. Cheer for the good guys. And by the good guys, I mean the evil empire. Riley fires the puck down. Lawton is after it. Gustafsson leaves it. Lawton wins the race for it. It's what I'm talking about with Lawton's speed. Listen, Toronto is collectively falling in love with Scott Lawton as we speak. And there's a lot of reasons to love this guy. And I get the Ernie Clement comparison because he's a bit of a bunch. He's got so many tools in the tool belt. But one of the things that I think makes him super effective for the Leafs is the speed. He's got speed bursts, not quite like Bobby McMahon, not quite like a guy like Mitch Marner had, but he's deceptively fast. And the Leafs have had slow-ass people in their bottom six for years. Drew says he's our new Nazem Kadri. I just don't think he can score like Naz can. By the way, a new Bozak? Well, I mean, Bozy was good for about 40, 50 points a year. Lawton has done that. I think he's done 35, 40 points. I'll say this, too. By the way, Kadri Darren Dreger was on Barn Burner, which is a Flames podcast. Really good guys over there. And Drew sent that through the group chat in the intermission. And apparently, Kadri, one of the destinations for him could be Colorado. And I just think that might be absolutely perfect. They have missed him since he was gone. Brock, oh, no! Foligno with a tip shot, and it just handcuffs Joseph Woll. The Leafs had a bad icing there. They're not able to control it out of it. They were exhausted. I want to have a better look at this. So Lawton does not win the faceoff draw here, and he usually does. And it just kind of bounces. Woll has no shot at that. I think he's down a little bit early, but like he just kind of handcuffs him on the blocker side. Man. I can't even put this on Woll. That was just weird. He is out of position. I mean, he's down too fast, right? Like, you don't love that. But you would expect that if the shot's coming from the point is coming low. I don't know. I think Steve's probably at home saying, hey, man, can you just mix in a save? Again, I think that's a handcuff shot. The Leafs are going to have to do something about this. They're just going to have to score. Gustafson. Whoa, nice shot by McCabe, and that puck goes out. The one thing the Leafs can do is score goals. They can't defend worth a damn. They're getting good goaltending. They're getting lots of goal scoring. Francois Lebel, yay, my poll choice is leading at the top. Yes. What is it? What does it say? Do you love Scott Lawton? Yes or yes? Yeah. Sedin Magic 15 says you have to feel for Woll on that one. I think you do. That's just a weird one. I'm not saying Woll's looked particularly great. You think it's a slow tip, Drew? You think make the save? Is he too? Drew's saying he's out of position. Is it that he's too far to the left? Is it over his right? Because he did overcommit to his post on the power play goal, the first goal that went in, and almost overcommitted on the other. It might be one of those games where he just doesn't know where his posts are. That happens. Gonna need him to figure that out, though. Definitely want to win this game. Gabe is agreeing with you, Steve or Drew. He's saying he really lost his net there. All right. Carsey says it would have hit Hildeby's shoulder because he's gigantic. Yeah, I think Hildeby isn't Woll 6'4" and Hildeby 6'7"? 3 inches. Makes all the difference. Yeah, I don't know. Being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, it's up and down this year. It's up and down. Yeah, Drew, Steve does say in the group chat, please make a save, bro. Oh, okay. All right. Sebastian says, Adam, if you have the choice, would you swap Tree for Dubas? Honestly, I would love Dubas would have done if Shanahan had him stick around and trade one of the core four. It would have been Marner or Nylander. I don't know which one it would have been. I would have loved to have seen what Dubas would have done. One thing, though, I will say about Dubas is he never built a proper defense for Toronto. He could never figure it out. And with Tanev in the lineup and OEL playing like he's playing, and Carlo, I think, is a lot better than Leaf fans give him credit for. Honestly, I think this team is a heck of a lot better on the defensive side of things. Dubas' blind spot is defense. I mean, look at the Graves deal that he signed immediately going to Pittsburgh. Then he goes out and get Carlson when you already have Letang. I get that Letang's on the downside of his career, but what are we doing here? I think the Leafs were probably better off trading a member of the core four and firing Dubas. How's that? Does that make sense? Did I answer the question? Ray A. Black says, didn't he give us McCabe? Yeah, he did. But it can't just be McCabe, right? It's like he got McCabe because Muzzin got injured. And it couldn't, and at the time it was like, well, but it can't just be Muzzin, right? That was the thing. And Muzzin was like carrying Justin Hall, and everybody's like, oh, Justin Hall's sick. He's so great. No, he's not. He's just playing with Jake Muzzin. And that's illustrated by the fact that when Justin Hall went to Detroit, he very quickly became their seventh defenseman and is now in the AHL. And it's not to say he's not a great guy, but Jake Muzzin carried that defensive pair. Carried it. And I think what I wished Dubas had figured out was you need like 2 Jake Muzzins, and you need a better version of Morgan Riley. And here we go. Breakaway, Tarasenko scores. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, I think that's curtains for Wall. I think that's it. I think you're pulling Joseph Woll after that. That's 4 goals on 15 shots. That's Levi Marilainen numbers. You can't do that. That's rough. Drew's like, Tarasenko's like 37. Yeah, he's having a vintage Tarasenko night tonight. I told you he'd be dangerous before the game. Said, watch out for this guy. Leafs didn't hear me. This is rough. So 4 goals, 16 shots, and Woll is still in the net. I guess they want to hold Hildeby for the Detroit game, but like, dude. All right, Matthew Nyes with the interception. It's so clear too. Like when you play a team like Minnesota, what having a good like an all-star defenseman gives you. When you play a team like Colorado, when you played Vegas and they had Pietrangelo, like that, vintage Victor Hedman, those types of players. I know there's not many of them, but if you want to win a cup, they're always winning the cup. Teams with players like that win. There's a reason Pietrangelo's got a cup in St. Louis and a cup in Vegas. There's a reason that Hedman's got a couple cups. There's a reason Makar's got a cup and probably has another one coming this year. Like, you need those types of players. The Leafs never figured that out. Like, they couldn't even get a Hannafin level player. So, I think if the Leafs are going to take a swing here, horrific line change, Drew. You're so right. That was horrific. That's another thing the Leafs are comically terrible at is line changes for whatever reason. It's crazy. Now, the Leafs have come back from this. I was at the Winnipeg game where they came back from the 4-1 deficit, but I'll tell you, that was against Winnipeg. That's not against the Wylde, who have 2 of the best goalies in the league and one of the best defensemen in the league and one of the best forwards in the league. And there's so many injuries on this Wylde team, and the Leafs are just – they don't have that pop tonight. Maybe it's just me, though. Maybe I'm the one that doesn't have any pop tonight. I think it's going to be like, I think the team's shown management enough that, I think Easton Cowan had him beat there. I don't know about that icing. That's how desperate I am. I'm debating icing with the linesman. I think the Leafs have shown you at very least that even if they don't make the playoffs this season, which is an entirely possible outcome here, this team should be better next season. And if an opportunity comes to find an all-star quality caliber defenseman, you need to get it. I don't know that it's out there, but you need to take advantage of that. Because you think with Drew, do you think Rasmus Anderson would have been the thing, though? Because I don't know. Rasmus Anderson's a great player. Better than anyone the Leafs have, I agree. But is his skating what they need? Look at Quinn Hughes. Look at him move, right? One of the things that I think Toronto needs is a mobile guy. They need a guy who can wheel. Drew says, better hope they get a top 5 pick then. There's guys that can skate. Maybe not like Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, but they can. There's guys that can skate. Is there a... Yeah. Oh, here we go. We got a delayed penalty shot by Yarncroke, and the Leafs are going to go to the power play. Drowsy Dan says this game could use a goalie fight. I agree, Dan. Francois Labelle, man, those top 3 in the Central are really good. I don't see them often. No, they're sick. Rennie says Drew trying to speak the Leafs losing to the Avs into existence. Kellen says 2 games in a row where Morgan fails to tie up his guy on a goal. Buddy, 2 games in a row? The guy is an awesome person. That's every game. That's every game. The Vegas game, he had one of those too. And I know it was Kolasar that he was trying to tie up, but like, I don't care that he's bigger than you. Got to do something about it. Every game. Every game. Yeah. Anyway, I think you got to find a way. Like, here's the thing: the best teams find a way to continue to add. Vegas has drafted like once in the first round in their entire existence, and they don't have their first round pick until like 2028, and even that's conditional. When instead of spending like, listen, I liked the Lawton acquisition, I liked the Carlo acquisition. That cost you 2 first rounders. Those 2 first rounders could have gone for a guy like Anderson, right? I think if you're going to spend that 2028 first round pick, if you're going to spend a prospect, if you're going to spend a roster player, whatever it is that you got to do, and you might need to look further up the lineup to give. That might not be a comfortable conversation that anybody wants to have, but you might have to. You got to find somebody on the back end who anchors your back end. You got to find it. I don't know that Rasmus Anderson would have been the guy, but and I don't think that Toronto had anything close to what Minnesota offered for Quinn Hughes. But you've got to find ways to add talent through trades and like game breaking talent. You lost Marner, you got Nick Waugh back, but you don't have like Nick Waugh doesn't have like game breaking talent. Vegas has been able to do it. You got to be able to do it too. And I don't care that they're tax free. I don't care that it's nice to live there. You're Toronto. Act like Toronto. Act like a big market team. Oh, well, we can't sell them on the weather. We'll sell them on something else then. Sell them on it's actually a really friggin' great place to live. It's a great place to play hockey. It's a legendary franchise. You win here, you're a god forever. Forget winning here. You go to the 3rd round and they build you a statue. Ask Doug Gilmour how he feels about being a Leaf. Ask Matt Sundin how he feels about it. I'd say they felt pretty good about it. And all the guys that I've talked to, I've had conversations with Cujo, Darcy Tucker, Doug Gilmour, and a bunch of other guys who used to play for this team. And I'll tell you, they all loved their time here. Get those guys involved. Get them selling other players on coming here. Get the legends in there. Use the guys that you shot. Gustafson there. Victor Meto, will AM34 show some emotion? Oh, wait, automatic. No. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that take, man. I don't like that. I think he absolutely shows emotion. I think it's just not the kind of emotion that you're probably looking for. I think you're looking for Matthew Tkachuk emotion from a guy that doesn't show emotion that way. He's a quiet guy. Matt Sundin didn't show a lot of emotion, except for when he scored. And then he freaked out. Matthews did too. Drew said, I think an Austin Matthews backhand is faster than Morgan Rielly wrist shot. I think you're right. I don't understand Morgan Rielly on the top power play unit either. And again, I'm not trying to hate. I like, why is Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who has 34 points this year, not on the Leafs' first power play unit? Like, I don't understand. He's got a bomb from the point. Matthews to Tavares. Oh, nice little play there. Tavares with the puck behind the net. Reverse pass tries to get, okay, Matthews downloaded Nyes. Nyes downloaded Tavares. Tavares tries to do a spin. He's tripped up. And that is going to be it for the Leafs power play. About 10 seconds to go. Alex92 says, hey, I just tuned in. How utterly insufferable is Drew right now? Actually, Drew's been great. Drew's been great. I mean, it's the Leafs who are kind of insufferable tonight. Yeah. You know, I was okay with the Leafs doing nothing. But I think if that big swing is available, if you can get a really like talented top tier defenseman, you break the bank to do it. And it might not just be for like, you don't do it for this season. You do it for continuing on. You do it for this season too. But you need somebody who's like a top 10 defenseman in the league. Somebody who can wheel. If you can get that, and by the way, you're like, well, those guys aren't just out there. Well, why is the general manager paid like $4 or $5 million a year to find deals? Go make it happen. Lawton. Oh, Lawton with off the post, kind of a sneaky shot. He had Gustafson down. Carlo. listen, I'm going to take any shot the Leafs have at the net as excitement, okay? It's not exactly been the best game. Shots are even, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. Kaprizov into Hartman. Hartman with a shot. Ooh! Man, if Zuccarello had hit the net, that was going in. Woll overcommitted on that first play. Zuccarello had him down and out, and he was not able to put it on the net. Kaprizov has made a lot of stuff happen tonight. Drew calls him overpaid. I call him, please stop hurting my team. Yeah, I know. He does make $5 million more than McDavid. It's true. Grand Lakes Rock says, would you trade Nylander for an Adam Fox type deal if that was possible? Oh, off the post. Zuccarello just missed another beauty. Oh, was that a save? Oh, it was Hinostroza that had it. Okay, why did I think it was Zuccarello? I guess they get similar numbers. Okay, so Woll made a save there. That's good. Here comes Hunter. Riley jumps it off the boards. Matthews trying to get it. Middleton is able to hold him up. Why is it that every time Minnesota breaks out, it's feeling like a 2-on-1 like every time? Oh, and the shot goes through. Hinostroza. Man, the refs are a little slow on the whistle there. Hinostroza got like 5 whacks at that. Okay. All right. Yeah, Grand Lake Rocks says, would you like a Nylander for Adam Fox type deal if possible? I think you have to keep Nylander, and I think you got to keep Matthews. I think you have to do that. That's your dynamic duo in terms of scoring up front. I think you look at anybody else on the roster, and I include Matthew Nyes in that. If you can get a great defenseman, you do that. I don't know if that's out there. I'm just saying. I think you've got to be creative here. You got to be creative. That was not a save by Woll. Okay, good. That was the post. That's what I thought. Looking at the thing. Adam, if Boston doesn't have the Leafs' first pick, I agree, doing nothing. However, since Tree gave the pick to Boston, they need to make a big trade to push them over the top and avoid Boston getting a top pick. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily a worry anymore. Like, the way the Leafs are right now, they're just on the outside of the wild card looking in. So Boston would get like a 15th overall pick, which is still good. But like 15 to 17. But it's not what it was. Like, the Leafs are not in lottery position anymore, which is what they were a month and a half ago. They were bottom of the Eastern Conference. That's a fucking disaster. The other thing is, if it is a lottery pick, the Leafs would get it because it's top 5 protected. So, I don't know. Ian Ball says the only time you're trading Nylander is if you are like legit rebuilding. I agree. I completely agree. I'm B says, Adam, would you retain to get rid of Riley? It depends on what it would be, but I don't think you're going to need to. Somebody is going to be able to use Morgan Riley properly. Drew's right. You're not going to get much for him. But I think because of a no trade clause, but I think just even freeing up the cap space could be good. You know, can you deploy $7.5 million a different way via free agency or some sort of trade or whatever? Because I think like Ben Danford coming up, and again, I don't know that Ben Danford's going to step right into the NHL kind of the way Easton Cowan did. But you want Ben Danford to be, you know, basically apprenticing under Chris Tanev, because that's what you're hoping he turns into. And you've got Cowan on the upswing. You've got some talent on the wings, and Nick Robertson's probably now a player. You can find guys, you can replace wingers. You can't really find centers that easily. You can't find good defensemen that easily. So you got to give to get. I don't know. I think they got to start to look at that. And maybe it doesn't happen this season. Maybe it's in the offseason. But it's clear they've got an issue. Oh, man, look at this. Tarasenko with another wide open shot. He's on hat-trick watch, by the way. Anybody paying attention to that? By the way, somebody asked in the chat if we covered the goalie fight. We sure did. We covered it sort of just after it happened. Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky, not a whole lot of shots actually land in that fight. It's fun to see, and I love the fact that Bobrovsky's like, screw it, here I come. Like, the one thing you got to say about the Panthers is they're so entertaining. They understand that hockey is supposed to be an entertainment product, and they also happen to win. Bobrovsky comes down the ice like he's in the WWE. Like, they might as well have shot off fireworks like he's Triple H. But Wall with a big rebound there, but the Leafs are able to at least clear it. Second period has been the worst for the Leafs this year, and it's not much better. They are down 2 this period alone. Ooh. Shot by Faber, and it's kind of tipped by, I think it was Foligno, who also caught Wall earlier in the game on a tip on the third goal. Yeah, so they're showing on the screen right now. What's that, Drew? The last time Tarasenko had a hat trick, December 2023. Of course it would happen here in Toronto. We're just beautiful with that. DT says we are traveling to Toronto this weekend from Minnesota for Marner's return game. Does SDPN have any live events scheduled this weekend by chance? We do not. We do not. The big game is going to be Marner. And Steve's doing that stream. You know that's going to be big. Friday night, baby. SDPN. Do not miss that. Do not miss that. That's going to be one of the best streams of the year. Nick Waugh. Out front. Morgan Riley. Over. Oh, what a great play by Morgan Riley to Easton Cowan. Cowan unable to get it on the net, but a really nice heads-up play. Leafs with a little offensive zone pressure here. Morgan Riley wheels. Cowan waits, shoots. Oh, and it just kind of squeaks through. Would have fooled Gustafsson, but it didn't hit the net. Victor Mento says that, Lord, this game should be 7-1. LOL, goalies go. I know, buddy. It's not been great. Oh, and Cowan is now going to the box. That's a hooking call. And that's another, listen, 2 games ago, Easton Cowan took an offensive zone penalty doing the exact same thing as he's doing here. You cannot make a play like this. Like, what are you doing? All day, every day, they're going to call this, and it's in the offensive zone. No bueno. And I wanted to give Berube credit for at least playing him after he took that penalty, but I said to my wife in my living room, I was like, he shouldn't play another shift. And that was against Vegas. That let them back in the game, and that ultimately led to the collapse the Leafs had last Thursday. You cannot, especially against the best teams in the league, if you get beat like that, you got to outskate your problems. You can't tag along like you're a trailer hitch. It's like you just can't. And he's got to learn that. And I know he's a rookie, but that's twice in 3 games. And he had a really good game against Winnipeg. You got to be better than that. Coach has got to be able to trust you. McCabe fires the puck out. 2:16 left in the period. 1:37 left on the power play. Cody says we should try to get Grabenkin back. Back check, paycheck, forecheck, paycheck. That guy was nails. Listen, no disrespect to Grabenkin. He might turn into a good NHL player. He's getting healthy in Philadelphia, guys. Oh, Zuccarello almost had another one. Wool is in his net. And he was like deep in his net. Big shot by Kaprizov, misses the net. Remember, we're on Tarasenko hat-trick watch here. Zuccarello. Back to Hughes. Lawton without a stick, by the way. Hartman shot, and that is blocked by Brandon Carlo. Zuccarello to Hughes. 1:16 left in the second period. 37 seconds left on this power play. Lawton with a good block there on Kaprizov. Hughes. Big save on Kaprizov. Wow, okay. Joe Wool standing tall there. Whew. Oh, wow. So a correction on the stat. Tarasenko's last hat trick was February 19th or 9th? February 9th, 2019, when he was still a St. Louis Blue. Damn. Okay, so he had one in the playoffs in 2022, but in the regular season, Tarasenko's last hat trick was 2019. Holy crap. Done with Lawton. I sure hope so, if they're smart. My Amazon is frozen, guys. So if the game is still rolling for you, I can't see it. Did I? Oh, I'm back? Okay, good. It must have been Wi-Fi in here. Sorry about that. My camera cut out. My internet cut out. 10 seconds to go on this power play, and they score. Man, I came back right in time for Foligno to get another one. Did Foligno tip the Faber shot in? Man, at one point in this period, the shots were 17-17. They are now 27-17. Leafs are getting caved. Is that not offside? That Spurgeon looks like he might have been offside there. Did you see that glove thing? Okay. Listen, I'm coping hard. I'm coping hard. Francois LaBelle says, does Marner get a hat trick on Friday? I mean, that would be very Leaf if he did, but I don't think he does. Francois LaBelle also says, I'm not taking it back. I'm a Habs fan. Sedin Magic 15, is it maybe time for Cowan to sit for a game or two? He's taken at very least, it might be time to go. We're going to put you on the fourth line. You want to work with these guys through mistakes too, right? You don't want to just penalize them. But at the same time, it's like, buddy, you got to be a value add here. Oh, terrible pass. What was that? 15 seconds to go. Man, this has been a terrible period for the Leafs. Terrible. Bad penalties. Bad goaltending. The fans are booing. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't blame them. That was a terrible period. Absolutely atrocious. 3 goals allowed. Bad goaltending. Bad defending. Bad PK. And by the way, the penalties the Leafs have taken have all been really bad too. Not good. James Stemler says, I almost grabbed a last-minute ticket to this one. Good thing you saved your money. Adam Niclario says, just tuning in. What happened? They're just bad tonight. Hayden dropping in the chat saying, hey, Adam. You know what, Hayden? How about we just delete your message? How about we just delete it? Huh? How about we just delete every message that Hayden Matheson drops into the chat? You know what's going to suck is when I got the game on Wednesday, and Hayden is going to be the producer, and he's going to be chirping me in my ear the entire time. Boy, the Leafs have been bad. Listen, there are times where you go, man, this Leafs team has it. One of the things that I think, and I meant to make this point on the show today, and I didn't. Great teams have a high floor. Great teams have a high ceiling, but at their worst, they have a high floor. Colorado, for instance, when they played the Leafs last Monday, that was not Colorado's best game. They were very good, but it wasn't their best game. Colorado's floor, when they're at their worst, is still better than most teams' ceiling. The Leafs' ceiling is pretty high. It's pretty good. It's playoff worthy. Their floor is atrocious. When they're out of it, they're fucking out of it. They're brutal. And this is one of those games. What's that, Drew? Drew says, hey, Hayden, even if Minnesota wins, they're still 13 points back of first place in their division, which is more points than Toronto is back in their division. So Drew and Hayden have a real serious rivalry going on because Drew being an Avs fan, Hayden being a Minnesota fan. You know what I'm talking about. Victor Meto says, Cowan has real heart. Put the kid on the fourth line. I think you put him on the fourth line. Let him play lesser minutes. You got to stop playing bad or taking bad penalties. You got to stop. Okay, I am going to leave you guys on a clip. Drew, what are we going to play here? Drew? Drew's getting to it. This is good. One of the guys who's high up on the trade board, who we weren't sure was going to get dealt, had a conversation with Chris Drury on Friday, and Chris Drury said, hey, we're trading you. His name is Artemi Panarin. Where does he get dealt? We got some landing spot ideas. Would love to know what you think. Here's the clip.
Another guy I'd like to talk about is Artemi Panarin, who I think might be dealt sooner rather than later. I don't know that for sure, but his name sure seems like it's out there. And with Shesterkin out for several weeks at least, basically, it seems like he might not be back until the Olympic break, although, we never know. And right now, New York is sitting at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, having played more games than the Blue Jackets and Sens, who are ahead of them directly, and they're 3 points behind both teams. This seems like a sell.
And they're just getting shaboinked.
Yeah.
Every game. They are
great way to
getting
put it,
shaboinked.
The no BS thing that the Rangers had going into this season.
Oh, there's so much BS.
Yikes. There's a lot of BS. What did Freed say? He said Florida and Washington. But another name that emerged potentially was the Minnesota Wild. And what's so interesting is Florida makes sense.
Oh, for Panarin.
Russian guys love going there.
Yep.
And also, who wouldn't want to go to a 2-time Stanley Cup champion team, 3 times in the finals in the last 3 years? Washington is interesting because obviously you get to feed, if you're Panarin, you get to feed Ovi. Yeah. And it's a
politically, that's fascinating.
And fantastic system that Carberry's got them playing. Mm-hmm. But I really sort of like the Minnesota Wild thing because it seems like they're doubling down on, our center depth isn't good, but we'll get you other ways.
I was thinking about that. Like, what could the Wild even do up the middle? Like, who's really available? You said Kadri. That was sexy.
Yeah, but is like Calgary seems to be really set on keeping Kadri. Sure. And I don't know why, but I
So instead of bringing in a new center and reinventing the wheel and having them getting used to everything, it's probably easier to get a winger acclimated to everything, and you just hope all your centers punch above their weight a little bit.
Eriksson Ek has been struggling with some injuries, but he is traveling with them.
Yeah, and I think you have some guys who can play wing, can play center, like Hartman.
Well, Hartman's playing second line center right now.
Right. Oh man.
But
it's a bit tough up the middle there, but you're so undeniable on the wings if you get Panarin.
Right. And if you do get Panarin, so you've got he's a right winger. Right?
No,
he's a
left winger. That's why the Washington thing doesn't make sense to me because Ovechkin's on the left and Protest is on the left. So I don't know where Panarin would play.
You've got
he wouldn't be feeding Ovi.
Mojo behind Kaprizov because Kaprizov's a left winger, right? So Marcus Johansson, Marcus Foligno, and Yakov Trenin. I'm assuming one of those guys would go back the other way, but and Marcus Johansson's actually had a pretty good season. I do think it would be fascinating to see a Kaprizov Panarin 1-2 on the left side. It would be cool.
God, Danila Yurov is your top. Oy vey. Yeah, that's tough, man.
They're still doing well.
They are, but it's lacking.
Okay.
And
also,
they say great hockey teams are built on the wing.
They
if they're gonna, we've talked about the Wild taking a big swing post Quinn Hughes trade. Yurov, I would assume, is one of their top chips, and they literally cannot afford to trade him. Mm-hmm. That's you're trading your top center. So them being involved in these discussions is fascinating because I don't know how you do it.
When you go and you want to drink a glass of water, you have to have a cup in your cupboard. If you're Bill Guavin, you can't just sell all your dishes. You need to at least drink.
You really went out of your way to get David Juracek. I kind of think he's got to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be.
The team with the second... Team is in second last in goals for this season.
In goals for?
I'll give you the first one. The team who is the worst goal scoring team in the league this year is the St. Louis Blues, which is really surprising considering Montgomery's system and the players that he has. But it seems like it's just not going well there. Who's number 2? Because I can't believe this team's not being brought up more, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
Are they in a playoff spot?
In and out.
Actually?
In and out of a playoff spot.
And they can't score?
Mm-hmm. And they're in a weak division. Does that help?
Well,
it does.
The default can't score team that we always talk about on this podcast is the Kraken. but I assume it's
they're
not.
I'm gonna go 10, but they're okay.
Yeah, because
they are only 5 goals up on this team, so they're not great.
I was gonna say they've picked it up a little, but I don't know how much.
Is it the Kings?
It's the Kings.
Oh, there you go.
And I wondered because the Kraken for me, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. Like I don't know. Like
I despises the Kraken.
No, I don't. I like everything around the Kraken.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand sometimes why they do. It's like, man, let's get more gigantic towering defensemen.
They just
who are slow. And
they don't have the flash of Vegas at all. At all. They run the ship completely differently.
No shit.
Yeah.
But they are.
Hey, they're JT Miller.
They are doing better lately. Like they're 3rd in the division. The Pacific Division stinks, but they're in it.
Yeah.
Take advantage.
They're getting goaltending and they look decent, which is a thing they didn't get from one of their goaltenders all last year.
That's how they're built to win.
But it's
so they're winning games by the design that they laid out.
A place that Russian guys apparently like to go though is Los Angeles because remember Kovalchuk when he came back? That's who he signed with, and hey, it's only the Pacific Ocean between you and home. Although there's a lot.
That's the biggest ocean in the world.
And
wrong way,
and then you're on the other side of Russia too.
I think you're going the wrong way.
I'm talking borders here.
How about you're rich and it doesn't matter?
Yeah, that's true. I look at this and go, the LA Kings do not allow a lot of goals. They have 122 goals for. That's bad. But they also don't allow a lot of goals, 131 goals against, which puts them top 5 in the league.
So are they going to try to replicate the Jeff Carter trade from 2012? Because they didn't really score, and then he joined, and I want to say they were the 2nd best offensive team in the league.
Panarin's a disher, right? And so
yeah, he can score, but yeah.
It's right now it's Jeff Malott, Alex Laferriere, and Adrian Kempe line 1, because you've got Perry out, Trevor Moore out, Kopitar day-to-day, Armia's day-to-day. But if you have Panarin, Kopitar, Kempe,
goodness,
that feels like
goodness.
They're old, but LA's old.
They don't play old. Kopitar maybe plays old. Kempe doesn't. play old.
Kopitar is old.
Kopitar is very old
and a good player, and this is his last season. I feel like for Kopitar's last season, at very least, you got to go out and get a stud. And
that's such a good point. Like, yes, you can't. Like, imagine you missed the playoffs this year,
and you didn't deal at the trade deadline on Kopitar's last season.
No, you gotta empty the cupboard on this one.
I wondered about that. I think LA should be a sleeper in that. I don't know whether they are or not. Ken Holland likes to make big swings. He doesn't give it. He's a draft schmaff kind of GM too. Doesn't give a shit.
Hey, you could always get older on D. Do the Rangers have any just ancient defensemen who can't skate back there?
You want to get older than
give him the Ken
than Doughty, Edmondson, CC, Dumoulin?
You could probably do that.
I mean, Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty are.
I'd make Joel Edmondson play with a weighted vest. Just really lean into the bit.
I think LA should be in there. They should be in there. Nothing against Jeff Malott, but I do think, and Warren Fogle, Kevin Fiala's on that team on the left side, would be pretty. That would give you a really good opportunity. And Panarin's pretty good in the playoffs, right?
Depends who you ask.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Brian Crawford, Commissioner of the OHL, and you're watching Oh Wow.
Oh, wow! That was the commissioner! Hello, friends. Steve Dangle here, and welcome to another episode of Oh, Wow, where we take a look at the best from around the Ontario Hockey League over this past week. Now, for those of you who don't know, Adam, Jesse, and I were at the OHL Top Prospects game in Peterborough this past week, checking out some of the top prospects in the OHL. Team East versus Team West, these kids are incredible. I was the in-arena host, so people got to experience that, but the hockey was also pretty good. For example, check out this finish from Igor Barabanov.
Yeah, you'll see that. Everyone at the practice yesterday was asking what that they're calling it a bumper. But bumper. It's got a name.
Sitting down low between the legs. Score. Beauty goal right there. Barabanov opens the scoring. It's 1-0. Team West on a dandy.
Now, I thought this thing was between the legs as well. This goal happened so fast, and I have no excuse for thinking this was between the legs because I was right in the corner next to the goal happening. But it's at the end of a beautiful passing play, and it is still spinning stuff which is as impressive as between the legs. That was a nasty goal to open up the scoring for Team West. As for Barabanov, he's having an incredible season. 49 points in 41 games so far with the Saginaw Spirit. Helping him out on this play with the assists were Ryland Singh of the Guelph Storm and Nikita Klepov, who's his teammate from Saginaw. It was a privilege to witness this goal live in person and up close. Igor Barabanov. Oh, wow. Now, Saginaw looked pretty good on this play, but it would be the Flint Firebirds looking good against them on our next one. Here's Kevin He, new player for the Flint Firebirds.
And they bring it back for Kluche's shot, and that one fought off by Mason Vicari. It's He. Up through center, Kevin He. Speeds in, left wing side. He shoots and scores! Kevin He off the mask in the net for one Firebirds!
Oh, okay. You should not be able to score goals from that kind of angle. I don't know how he scored a goal from that kind of angle, but he does, and that's enough. Kevin He, a 4th-round draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets, was having a monster season with the Niagara Ice Dogs, which is why the Flint Firebirds said, hey, we want that guy. 31 points in 28 games at the time that they got him. In just 6 games since joining the Flint Firebirds, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points, including this one. That is nasty work from the 109th overall pick in 2024. I think that's going to end up being a pretty good pick for the Jets. Kevin He. Oh, wow. Wait till you see this next highlight. Buddy, this thing might just be a save of the year candidate. Here's Ben Hrebeck of the Barrie Colts.
And Griffin will come up with it, finds Smirnoff. He's got Posthumus. Smirnoff for Posthumus. And what a save by Ben Hrebeck! Diving across with a glove to steal one from Luke Posthumus. Save of the week candidate for sure from Ben Hrebeck.
Save of the week, that might be save of the year.
Ben Hrebeck is ridiculous. Last season, he was 21-9-2 with a .920 save percentage. That is an extremely good OHL season. This season, he is 16-7-5 with a cartoonish .930 save percentage. This man hasn't been drafted, but something tells me NHL teams have noticed. I mean, you can't not notice him after seeing a save like this against the Oshawa Generals. This is the kind of save that anyone who's ever played goalie, at any level, heck, in your driveway, the kind of save anyone who's ever played goalie dreams of making. The kind of save where if you really wanted to, you could just retire right then and there. You know what? I did my job. I did it. I'm not going to top that. I don't think he's going to do that. But Ben Hrebeck of the Barrie Colts, look at the reaction of his teammates. Ah! Awesome save. Ben Hrebeck of the Barrie Colts. Oh, wow. For our next highlight, you might have heard that the Brantford Bulldogs have several players. Yeah, like 1 or 2. No, they're stacked. They're ridiculous, actually. Adam Juracek is one of those players. Check out what the right-handed defenseman does here.
Juracek in between the dots, shoots and scores. Gets by Greentree at the point, finds the corner, and the Bulldogs have the lead for the first time.
No. Dude, you want to talk about building on a season? Adam Juracek goes 16th overall in the 2024 draft to the St. Louis Blues. That's pretty high. Well, how did he follow it up? Well, points aren't everything for a defenseman, but in 27 games, he had 4 goals, 8 assists, and 12 points. And you might expect a little bit more than that from the 16th overall pick. Well, this season, in nearly the exact same amount of games, Adam Juracek has gone off. He had 12 points in 27 games last season. In 28 games this season, he has 13 goals. Add to that another 20 assists, 33 points, plus 23, so he's almost plus every game. And this kind of shiftiness is how he's able to pull that off. The little, stutter step at the blue line, nasty stuff, and then he just rips it. Adam Juracek, noted Alan Walsh client. Oh, wow. Now, for our last highlight, oh, is this nasty. Thomas Pobajal of the Kingston Frontenacs reminds the Saginaw Spirit that they play in Michigan.
Goes out the other side on the glove hand side of Stepan Shurigan. Will Bishop for Henderson. Shot deflected on its way by Pobajal. Ends up in the corner. Almost some friendly fire on that exchange up high with Misiak. The Michigan, he scores! Oh! Oh, what a goal! Pobejal upstairs on Shurigan. 40 seconds into the period, it's 2-0.
Welcome back from World Juniors, Tomasz Pobejal. And what a start to this second period for the Kingston Frontenacs.
In a one-goal game, you score a Michigan against a team from Michigan? Untold levels of aura. Tomasz Pobejal is having a tidy little season for the Kingston Frontenacs. 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points in 36 games, but he's got that in his bag. Like, points are obviously not absolutely everything. We know that. Of course, you got to watch the games. And it is not going to be practical to score a Michigan all the time. In fact, it's very rarely scored. That's why we talk about it when it happens. But teams have to look at you a little bit differently when you're cruising behind their net when they know you've got that in your bag. Tomasz Pobejal of the Kingston Frontenacs. Oh, wow. So, my friends, that is it for this episode of Oh, Wow. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to check out our full interview with OHL Commissioner Brian Crawford, it's right here on the SDPN YouTube channel. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. SDPN is where you come for all things OHL.
Oh, wow.
You know, as a Leaf fan, games like this wouldn't be so scary if the Leafs hadn't screwed around for 30 games, but they screwed around for 30 games. And now they've got one of the toughest schedules in the NHL, and they're losing 5-1 to one of the better teams in the NHL. And every loss, you're really going to feel in a way that you haven't felt since probably 16, 17. This is going to be a fight the whole way into the playoffs. And tonight's game has just not been good. Now, have they had some travel and that sort of thing? Yes, absolutely. And again, you could forgive them that if the first 30 games had gone normal. But they were bad. Not a lot of lines have it tonight. The fourth line has it. I don't think anybody else has got it. And the fourth line is starting the period as they should. Yarncroke, Lorentz, and Lawton. Dennis Hildeby is in the net, by the way. Joseph Woll was just not good. And I don't know, maybe Berube was trying to save Hildeby for Detroit or whatever. Just play Hildeby. Woll has not been sharp. He was not sharp against Vegas. He's not sharp tonight. At one point, the shots were 17-17 in the last period. And I think in the last 5 minutes of it, didn't help that the Leafs took a penalty. Last 5 minutes of that period, I think Minnesota had 12 shots. I'm not even kidding. I'd have to look at the box score to be sure, but pretty insane. SJ Sharks 93 says, did you see the goalie fight, Ned versus Bob? Yes, I did. I mean, they didn't really land any punches, but it was still exciting. By the way, Minnesota already has 2 shots in this period. It started less than 2 minutes ago. 31-17 of the shots right now. Stinker. You got to have some pushback in a game like this, though. Winning seems like a bit of a stretch, but you got to have some sort of pushback. You got to show some heart and some soul. You got to do something. I am curious about who steps up here, if anyone at all. If you're a line that wants to stay together, throw some hits. Bobby McMahon just threw a hit there. Morgan Riley intercepted a puck. Okay. Get something going. Domi out front with a shot. That shot is tipped by Quinn Hughes and out. One of the things, too, that I'm still confused by is why Oliver Ekman-Larsson is not on the first power play unit. If you watch teams defending the Leafs' first power play unit, they start to figure out pretty quickly that they don't need to cover Morgan Riley when Morgan Riley has the puck. And why is that? When he has the puck, he doesn't shoot. When he does shoot, he misses the net. When he hits the net, it's going at the speed of smell. He's not a guy that you need to cover. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson is 34-point defenseman. The only thing I can think, the reason that they might keep Morgan Riley in that position is they're trying to move him. And they're like, well, he's our first power play unit guy, and he gets a lot. They're trying to find him. They're trying to maybe pump and dump. I can't see any other reason why he would stay in that position. It just doesn't make sense. And again, I'm not trying to be a hater, but you're on the first power play unit. You can't shoot? Come on. Stetcher. Back to Nyes. To Stetcher. Stetcher does a little spinorama at the net. Gustafson's able to poke check that away. At least not able to get much going on that little rush. They tried. Hypothetical for RCM. Hypothetical, who would win East versus West All-Star game? I don't know. We'll find out next February. And everybody will be hungover and bored. Yeah, I mean, I think probably West has the more top-end talent. Wouldn't you agree? McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, Kaprizov, the goalie situation. I think the talent at the top of the West, and here we go, we got a breakaway. Or almost. Foligno trying to break away. Leafs are able to get some skin on him. At least prevent that. I can't believe they didn't take a penalty there, but lucky. Yeah, so I think the high-end talent in the West is far better than it is in the East. But I think overall the East has better teams. Oh, great play by McCabe over to Waugh. Great save by Gustafson. Nick Robertson now with a shot. And Juracek is able to tip that away. Good plays here by this third line. You can see why Berube likes to keep them together. Yeah, Robertson with a nice little look there. Denise Campbell, why isn't Scott Laughton taking more faceoffs? Is he not taking faceoffs? I think he's like the fourth line center. That's why. He's killed a lot of penalties tonight. Like, don't underestimate that. I think the Leafs have taken 3 penalties already. So of those 6 minutes, he's probably been out for 4.5 of those minutes. So he's getting his minutes. It's just unfortunately not at 5-on-5. Sergeant Guy says, salivating as a Wings fan watching the Leafs, hopefully, Sabres and Panthers lose in regulation. This hasn't happened since November. I know. The Atlantic Division has just been red hot. Nobody's been able to gain ground on anybody. Oh, wow. Great puck play by the Minnesota Wild there. Not able to convert, but Zuccarello with another great shot. He's had good looks all night. Here's Hartman. Watch. Every time Minnesota takes a step in, they find a passing lane. Leafs are letting them do it. William Reed says, our episode name, Born to be Wild. Oh, I hope not. What's that? What's that, Drew? Oh, Tay's got a 3-minute standing ovation in Chicago tonight. That's nice. That's nice. He should. He deserves that. Yeah, I don't know. Not a surprise there. Tays deserves the 3-minute ovation. Don't you think? And the guy brings 3 cups. That's 1 minute for each cup. It's not even a lot of time. Yarncroke gets the puck stripped by Kaprizov to Hartman. Wide freaking open. I mean, Carlos sort of has him there, but like the Leafs just don't have an answer here. They don't have the pop in their game. It feels like feels like last Tuesday's Utah game. Just a little dead on their feet. Yarncroke brings the puck out. Lorentz dumps it deep. Fourth line's going to change. And it looks like Minnesota's going to change as well. Shots are 32-18. I want to stress again, the Leafs and Wild were once tied at 17-17 in shots in this game. That's a real thing. Nyes on Faber. Leafs are offside. Play continues. Trenyon. Hughes to Faber. And here come the Wild again. Hey, the Leafs actually get a neutral zone stop by Tavares there. Stetcher dumps the puck in. Leafs have not done a lot of great defending through the neutral. Oh, Gustafsson gave the puck to Matthew Nyes. He was unable to get it out front to a wide open Tavares. Good coverage there by the Wild. Michelli shoots. That puck goes off Gustafsson and out. Justin Drake says, love how Chicago fans are going for the Bears this season. Straight to the Cubs because of how bad the Hawks are. You know what? I think the reason the Hawks are bad is because essentially their whole team is Connor Bedard's offense. They can find a little depth offense. If Frank Nazar could have continued to score the way he did in the first month, obviously he's been injured a long time. I think the Hawks have a team there. I think they need some more players, but there's good things cooking in Chicago. There's good things cooking in Chicago. Green Glass Fox. Wait, the Leafs have been outshot 15-1 since they were tied in shots? Yes. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? The Wild are shutting the Leafs down in the neutral zone. Like, watch this next sequence of play. We'll see if the Leafs can change it up. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. You watch what happens. The Leafs break out of their own zone. Minnesota will grab the puck, swing back, reload, and go right back in. And they're using their speed. Toronto, one of the things that Toronto got sort of stapled with in their first 30 games is how flippin' slow they looked. And recently, they've looked a lot faster because they do have some team speed because they've been playing a good system. Not tonight. Minnesota's skating them into the ground. You'll see it. Their neutral zone, it's not like a neutral zone trap like New Jersey in 2001, but it looks like a faster version of that. Brutal. TB says Minnesota has the best blue line in the league right now. I think Drew and the Avalanche would disagree with that. But Drew's also biased. I think on the blue line, we can have that conversation. But I think, like, you look at, like, Manson, forget Makar. It's like Taze and Manson. These guys, like, there's so much speed in Colorado's defense. It's crazy how fast they are. Yeah. Drew says they got Team Canada's number one pair as their number one pair. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Faber and Hughes are both on the Wild, right? They're both American Olympians. Here we go. Cowan. Shot. Oh, and it almost goes in off a skate, and it goes in. We got a goal. And I think it's Nick Robertson, maybe. Went off the skate. Is that going to count? The call on the ice is a goal. So they're going to have to review this and turn it over. The call is a goal. The third line has been cooking in the third period. I'll give them that. So it goes off of Juracek's skate, and then Waugh shoots it, and then it goes off of Robertson, I think, and Hinostroza pushes him in. It's Hinostroza that's pushing Robertson in. No, he didn't kick that in. He was pushed in. That's not a kick. There's no way that's a kick. Where's the kick? If that's a kick, where's the kick? No way. So they are going to review it. Because you know what? What does Minnesota have to lose here? Oh, worst case scenario, then you got to. That is not a kick. No, it doesn't go off his skate. That's a goal. All day, that's a goal. That cannot be goaltender interference. There's no chance. No, Hinostroza is pushing him in. There's no way. Drew's saying, but does he block Gustafsson? No, come on, Drew. There's no way. Drew's like, dude, it's the NHL. Who effing knows? He's right. I'm sorry, Drew. Drew and I are having a debate right now. We're here. That's got to be a goal. If that doesn't count, then none of the goals in the playoffs can count. Come on. If I'm Berube and they call this back, then I'm challenging this. So the puck goes off of the pad and then off the inside. Good goal. Okay, they call it a good goal. Is Minnesota going to challenge? I don't think they will. I wish Minnesota had challenged. I wish the NHL had gotten out of the way, and I wish John Hines had challenged that. Because then the Leafs would be on the power play. Alas, the league helps out Minnesota. The NHL's favorite team, the Minnesota Wild. Rennie says Drew's a shit disturber. Yeah, well, no kidding. Drew's the best at that. Oh. Hartman is having a good game, man. I hate to say it because he's crazy. But he and Zuccarello have had some looks tonight. Hartman has scored. That first line has just been eating the Leafs alive. No answers from Toronto on that line. And I told you, key to the game tonight, watch the power play. Tarasenko specifically, he's got 2 goals. Win your faceoffs. Win key draws. Leafs have better centermen than the Wild do. Hasn't happened. What are you going to do? Ooh. Thomas Hickey almost got hit by Jacob Middleton. Didn't feel good. The guys are checking in on him. That's nice. I think that Drew's like, are the girls behind him trying to pick him up? Maybe. He's a good-looking guy. He was on the show today. Nice dude. Nice. In the corner. Back to Stetcher at the point. Stetcher. Puck in low. Tip just a little wide by Tavares. Quinn Hughes runs a little interference, allows Faber to get that puck out. Urov gets it back to Quinn Hughes. 12:01 left in the third period. Is there a big comeback? Can the Leafs score 3 goals in the next 12 minutes? Robert Bett says, Drew, go to bed. It's past your bedtime. No, man. Drew's up. Drew's a late guy. Drew's bedtime is never. What's that, Drew? Yeah, Drew cheers for a West Coast team. And Drew is a one day Drew will be able to sleep in again when his kids are older. Oh, that's a Tarasenko just took a penalty. Oh, where the Leafs are going to get an offensive zone power play. Please, Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the first power play unit. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Yeah, so Tarasenko going to the box. By the way, Tarasenko is on hat-trick watch, but he did take a penalty. The Leafs have a chance here to get back in this game in the dumbest way possible. It's dumb, but it'd be cool. Yeah, so Tarasenko kind of trips up Waugh. And Tarasenko's saying he fell. Whether he did or he didn't. All right, here we go. Leafs lose a face-off draw. Puck is dumped down. Hildeby is able to stop. Morgan Riley still out there on PP1. I don't understand it. You've got a red-hot Oliver Ekman-Larsson just sitting on the bench. What are we doing? Nice to Tavares. Shot! Saved by Gustafsson. And a good save, too. Matthews along the half wall. Down low to Nyes. Nyes with somebody all over him. Tavares out front. Waits! And he gets poke-checked. Shoot it, Johnny! Sturm shoots. Hildeby saves. Tavares back to Matthews. Leafs making it way through the neutral zone very slowly. Holy moly. Michelli holds at the blue line. Leafs get set up. Morgan Riley down low. Nobody at the point. Nobody covering Morgan Riley. What are we doing, guys? Holy. Man, that's frustrating. Get the second unit out there. This is like insane. There's Ekman Larson out there. Thank God. Let's get it set up. Power play 2. Robertson, Domi, Oliver Ekman Larson, and Easton Cowan. And they're stopped up at the blue line. Leafs are doing nothing with this power play. What's that, Drew? Zone entries are awful. I told you guys they cannot enter the zone on a power play. Once they get in, they're okay. But like, what was that, Domi? Who are you passing to? What they do is they cross the blue line and they immediately pass. And Minnesota's read that perfectly, and Leafs can't make anything happen. And Cowan dunks it deep, and back out it goes. Tarasenko's going to get out. Ugh. Blown opportunity there. Clown show. Terrible. Out comes a fourth line to add a little energy. They've had a good night. Defensively responsible. It's created some good opportunities as far as the Leafs go, but you also kind of need them out there against Kaprizov because even the Matthews line needs to be sheltered these days. It's just not good enough against that line tonight anyway. Hartman, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, they've been eating the Leafs alive, and here they are doing it again. Kaprizov at the side of the net. Lorentz to Carlo. Carlo up. Yarncroke to Carlo. Carlo tries to get the puck over to Lorentz. Gustafsson plays it. Lawton. Puck is stripped from him. Here we go. Benoit. Puck up the ice to Nyes. Spurgeon is able to hold him up. Hinostroza tries to get it. Nyes gets it back. Oh, I don't think he realized what a wide open step he had to the net. And here we go. Every time Minnesota gets it, it's a 3-on-1, but Benoit makes a great defensive play. Back come the Toronto Maple Leafs. This game is going to open because Toronto needs to score here, and they might as well open it up. No point being defensively responsible now. Riley, puck across. Michelli slaps it deep. McMahon grabs it along the boards, doesn't know where the puck is. Turned over. Oliver Ekman Larson holds it at the line. Michelli giving chase. Juracek is able to make a play. Out come the first line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Riley and Oliver Ekman Larson are now together. Carlo and Riley have been split up. They've been split up for the better part of 2 periods, which is interesting. Wondering why that might be. It might be just because you're looking for a shutdown line with Carlo and McCabe. Stetcher and Benoit have been playing together most of the night. Here comes Riley's shot. Gustafsson is able to turn that aside. You're looking for the rebound on that play. Back come the Wild. Reload quickly back into the Leaf zone, and here they come. Tarasenko, number 91, is out there looking for that third goal. Leafs trying not to give it to him. His last regular season 3-goal game came in 2019 when he was still with the Blues. That team, of course, went on to win the Stanley Cup with current Leafs coach Craig Berube. Domi, Cowan, Matthews now. Leafs playing a little bit of line blender, I think, or maybe they're just in the middle of a change. Yeah, middle of a change. Matthews tries to get it out front to Cowan. Not able to do so. Out comes Robertson. Turns quickly. His legs have been going tonight. He's got a brand new agent. He switched to Octagon from CAA along with his brother Jason. Now being, and a nice play, but Cowan is offside. Jason Robertson and Nick Robertson, by the way, joined Octagon today from CAA. That means their agent is the same agent as Leon Draisaitl. Man. Leafs just cannot get a lot going on. Heather, the Avs fans, Arena thought had a good goal today, too. I don't know what you mean by that, Heather. Francois Lebel dropping 5 SDPN memberships just because he's a nice guy. I'm going to throw another Halls down the jugular. Stop myself from coughing into the microphone. I'm not sure how I feel about these cherry Halls. I think I prefer lemon. Do we have a Halls preference, guys? You like the black ones. That's the black. Is that the black cherry? What are those called? Extra strength mint. I don't know if I've had those. Francois LaBelle says, I dropped those in to pick up the mood. Well, thank you, Francois. Wood Pigeon Outdoors. My wife says Matthews is too much of a princess to fight. I don't think Matthews needs to be fighting. It's a guy with wrist injury trouble most of the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think you want your 50-goal scorer fighting. Just a thought. People are saying lemon is elite. Square cherry. Ricola honey lemon. I don't think I've had that one. No Halls. I prefer Ricola. Citrus vitamin C ones are good. How do you spell mentholyptus? I've never heard of mentholyptus. Lemon mint Ricola. Luden's strawberry. What's Luden's? I've never had Luden's. Sarah says that fake cherry flavor is brutal. Stick to citrus or mint. I know. It's gross. Brutal. All right. Face off at center ice. Top line out there for the Minnesota Wild. They've been eating the Leafs alive all game long. They're playing the Nick Waugh line with Cowan and Robertson, which has had some pretty good 5-on-5 minutes, aside from the Easton Cowan offensive zone penalty, which was really bad. And, of course, Minnesota made them pay for that. They also made him pay on a bad Simon Benoit penalty. Good hint. Don't go down a man against Minnesota. Joseph Woll did not have a good game tonight, by the way. He was pulled after 2 periods. I guess I think, obviously Hildeby is going to get the start against Detroit on Wednesday. I really do wonder if you start Hildeby Friday as well. Joe Woll showed you versus Vegas last week that he's not having a good stretch. You need to win that Mitch Marner game. You must win that Mitch Marner game. Francois LaBelle says, Fisherman's Friend, extra strength. You got to go with that. Well, it's too late now. 5 minutes left in the period. MT says, Adam, please say you'll cover the Beckham family drama on VIP this week. It's very juicy. Also go Leafs. Amen. And yes, I will. Here we go. Matthews on a breakaway. Here we go. Shot scores! It's 5-3. A great setup by Max Domi. These two have connected pretty well over the last few games. That's Max Domi's 11th point in his last 15. And I believe in his last 15, Austin Matthews has 15 goals. And my fantasy team thanks them. Because Austin's got 2 move on Gustafsson. I don't know that the Leafs can get 2 goals in the last couple of minutes here. But that's a nice goal. You got to be happy with that. At least your big guy is scoring. Yeah, beauty. Beauty play. He's automatic these days. 5 minutes to go. Leafs being outshot 34-27. Can they make a game of it? If they get one more goal here, then we're talking pulled goalie territory. Tavares' line has been a little quiet. Tavares did get a power play goal. What's that, Hayden or Drew? When do they pull the goal? Would you pull him now? I wouldn't pull the goalie now. Leafs have 3.5 minutes, maybe, but I think the Leafs have not had enough good puck possession to pull him too early. I think you got to get the Waugh line out there, or you got to get the Matthews line out there before you go pulling the goalie, because I don't think the Tavares line has been good enough 5-on-5 to do it. Stetcher! Oh, what a play! Good save by Gustafsson. Stetcher kind of surprised everybody by being in there. Ekman Larson now. Out comes the Lawton line. 4 minutes to go. We need a good forecheck from the Lawton line. What you need from this Lawton line is to create an offensive zone faceoff. That's what you're looking for here. The only thing you need from this line is an offensive zone faceoff. Oh, good play across. Hartman line out there. Zuccarello and Kaprizov have been very, very good for the Minnesota Wild tonight. That's why you also kind of want to line match them. Yarncrow cuts it off with his hand. Oh, and then he overplays the puck. Carlo chips it in. Okay, so you can't get the offensive zone faceoff you wanted from that line, but you do get a change. Matthews' line is out there. Now I think you're probably in the territory where you could pull the goalie. 3:30 or 3:20 left. This is the time to do it. And Hildeby is pulled, and I told you, puck play's been bad. And there's the goal, and they missed. Oh, I thought that was a goal, kids. I thought it was a goal. 3:03 left. Leafs coming back. The score effects are off the charts. Matthews. Domi fires the puck deep. Not pissing around at the blue line, which is nice. Oh, man. And the Leafs just cannot establish puck dominance. And here we go, Foligno. Shit. And it's Marcus Foligno gets the hat trick. We thought Tarasenko might. It's Marcus Foligno. Zone entries, dude. Zone entries were terrible. Leafs had every opportunity there to get set up, get going, and the zone entries were awful. Awful. They just did not have it tonight. That second line is... Yeah, Drew said Marcus Foligno hat trick is embarrassing. Yeah, it kind of is. I got to say this, too. That second line is dead in the water without Nylander on it right now. You know, Tavares is older. Nyes is hurt. Michelli is what he is. I don't think he's a bad player, but, like, there's not a lot going there. You know what I mean? Not a lot going there. Not a great game. Not good. And, you know, that's Marcus Foligno's first career hat trick. Great. Love that it happened here. Love that. Man. Crazy. I know Hayden's loving this, by the way. He's at the game with his dad tonight, probably. Just loving his life. Okay, Stetcher. We'll see what happens. Couple of bad penalties tonight put the Leafs in a bad spot. I'd say you want that Benoit penalty back. That was bad. The Cowan penalty was bad. And by the way, the Wild made them pay both times. Good to have him back. Made some good defensive plays tonight. Not good enough, though. You can't take shit like that. It put the Leafs on the back foot immediately, and they never recovered. They got close. Game was 2-1 at one point. Second period was just an abject disaster. 3 goals allowed, bad penalties. You just don't recover from that. And, you know, the team is injured, and they've been playing well lately despite it. I also want to say that I have serious questions about where Joseph Wool's at right now. I think for the rest of the week, it's Dennis Hildeby's net. He's played the third period tonight. He's played well. Hasn't let a goal in. Hasn't been tested that much either. I think it's got to be Hildeby against Detroit. And if Hildeby gets it done versus Detroit, then I think you got to play him versus Vegas. Wool got his shot in Vegas. He wasn't good enough. He played against the Wild tonight. He wasn't good enough. Anthony Stolarz is not ready to come back yet. Brad DeCare says, are the Leafs still tired? CJ was saying tonight that he can see how they would be because they just came back from a brutal road trip. And again, this loss wouldn't sting so much if they hadn't messed up the first 30 games the way that they did, but they messed them up. They were brutal. And now you have to win every game. Every game's a must-win now. Here we go. Leafs might score here. Oh, Lawton brought down at the net. 1 minute to go in this godforsaken contest. Leafs are, if you're looking on the bright side of things, the Leafs are going to be 16-6-5 at home. After tonight, they've only got 10 games left at home the entire season. Oh, sorry, after this homestand, they will have 10 games left. Brutal. Brutal. By the way, Marcus Foligno had 3 goals on the entire season before this game. According to chat. Brother. Yuck. Josh D. Penn says, thanks for the stream tonight, Adam. Get ready for Chris Shula to be the head coach of the Steelers. Drew, have they signed Chris Shula, or is he just the guy that? No, he's just talking shit. Okay, good. Whew. I don't know anything about Chris Shula. Nothing against him. I need them to hire somebody who was willing to rebuild the team. Enough of this. Like, why do you want Aaron Rodgers to stick around at 43? Are we kidding? Stop. 7 seconds to go. And that is it. Leafs lose. Minnesota wins. And the worst part about it is producer Hayden gets a big victory. And nobody wanted that. Joe Wall, to me, is the biggest red flag after this game, guys. Bad game in Vegas against a good team. Bad game in Toronto versus Minnesota. I don't know that I blame him. Justin made a really good point earlier. There are certain goals here I'm like, I don't know if I fully blame him for that. But every goal in the NHL is scored after a defensive breakdown. Stoller's just not back. No, he's practicing. But he's not practicing with the team yet. He's skating. He's had a nerve issue, apparently. Anyway, I'm hoping and praying that things get better there. I need Joseph Wall to really he's going to have to stand on his head. Or you start Dennis Hildeby. Jared says, why are the Leafs always tired? Well, they were tired against the Mammoth last week because they just flown in from Colorado at 3 a.m. And both cities are in the mountains. Not easy to do. And the Leafs just came off a big road trip. But they get 7 games at home here. Make it happen. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I'm going to roll off early because it is already late. Big shows tomorrow. I want to thank Drew. I want to thank Justin. Did a great job tonight, despite the Leafs just not having it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you Wednesday. Leafs are taking on Detroit. That's a big matchup. That's a must-win game. You must beat Detroit because they've been red hot, and you've been red hot, and you need to gain ground on them because they're way up on you. So that's going to be a big game. An even bigger game, Mitch Marner's return to Toronto on Friday, and you already know Steve's going to be streaming that one. So have a good one. New Steve Dangle podcast tonight and new Steve Dangle podcast tomorrow, too. We're doing a show tomorrow. So we will see you then.